your side. Sway me with your tide. We've got a tempest stirring up inside. Waterborne on the rain, thunder ocean born. You can drown me. No, you can drown me. Heart that's close to the moon and the Neptune. Rivers, scores our blood. Our breath is thunder.
这边过来木一场要成3个，然后上方呢有战人迅猛，但是扎的效果不是很理想。凤凰直接一个蛋交出，但是这边那个居然还没形成阵亡。后面这个末日还是扯断了这个帕克一张大，然后接了颗蛋。这边末日人走了先，反手复魂留2个，正面海洋神拳带走这边一个米拉娜，再往前继续跟雪球，这样的话反杀骷髅王一条命。帕克这边再断一波后排，看看几神之后怎么去打。剑圣的血量并不多，但是后排有个奶棒，直接反手一个无敌斩，加入他斩死这边一个凤凰，往里顶，海洋神拳过来开到一个米拉娜，后面末日顶着这边的一个波勇再往前冲，后面凤凰一个变蛋，正面骷髅王这个位置第一条命已经交掉了。看看正面凤凰马上涅槃重生，末日大招给到这边的一个帕克，里面柔山到底是谁的？柔山被骷髅王拿下，死亡一指过来扎到一个沙王，反向推直接拉开，后面一个刺2个，但是绵绵正面的话应该先行倒地。双方这个位置能不能互救？小福去往中路救自己，但美杜莎开大招粘住这边一个丽娜，丽娜转手打了波大死的，但是自己这边好像还是被石化了，直接带走。哎，反手过来一个山崩，但是好像有点隐身等于无敌，反手自己被变羊，死亡一指去往中路赶紧过来抬住。但是我们看这个位置直接往上顶，美杜莎开了自己的跳刀加石化上来打输出，那2个后排怎么办？配合列队沟壑都得死。
发现对方的1、3号位都在，拍拍熊这里近身来打输出吃伤害，推一下 ，TB 这里被拍晕了，死亡先知近身了，给上倒影开了 BKB， 对方人有点多，兽王已经倒了，
赶紧跑！这个位置手上还捏着分身
，TB 跑
后续，哎呦，分身好像交走了，
完了！
这个位置孽主先行阵亡，但是孽主这边是有买的，后面再过来一波开车，看看这边眩晕6波拍拍熊，还能再来连撞吗？还能再撞一手？这个位置拍拍熊蓝量不多，旁边有没有兄弟救他一下？这个位置再过来想跳走，找到老树精，但反倒反杀了老树，再过来亚布就赶过来，
套个莲花球，终于死了，
终结，但是他能买呀，
是的。
这边能买的人已经不多了，我们看 DP 再过来粘住一个大大蓝量并不多，亚布顿旁边能不能加一口血？加了一口，还在过来继续粘，这个位置能不能把他带走？推一手，踩一下，
迷雾，再来一口，奶一将，哇！哎，这里还是斧王 BKB 好，剃刀 BKB 抽攻，后排拉希克被断了，公公开车撞墙，有无光盾解了一下 CK 先倒了 ，TB 这里想再打输出，发现只跟上倒影之后，只能先打脸上的英雄，
但是感觉有机会，又过来带走这边的一个拉希克，
军团指关直接决斗，伤害没跟上，队友被断了，军团指关决斗要结束了，最后一个川子伤害跟上了，古奇里拿到了，不过军团没买的，上一波买魂交过的，帕克有买，发球有买，冥魂大帝这里又被留了，
这边怎么办？反手直接正面白头，自己这边还有命，看看这边往后拉扯，要不要把伤害熊随便换上来？换上来了，就看这个位置，2秒 CD， 这边再给否决，刷一手，刷出来了，没命，还有1命，哦，再起身，他没拉跳刀，往后跟给莫勇，这个位置再过来继续跟一手，推救一下，拍头直接勾了上来，断掉这边天涯默克，
默克还买的，
去找这边骷髅王反手一个大晕锤，但是感觉这个位置血量有点顶不住， 自己阵亡，但是可以考虑选择一波买活。正面只剩拉希克跟这边骷髅王了。
CK 跳进来，晕了一个4秒。
盾看看是谁的，这个位置伐木机拿到这个盾，开白熊往后一波拉扯，状态不是很理想，这被带走，但是 CK 的状态也不是很好。这样的话 CK 也死双方这边形成1波1换1。再来看接下来怎么去打，这边过来拉住一个小洛，能补一波法输出，小洛这个位置也直接被带走。
来了，小文，
哎呦，
没打
走了，这个位置 CK 还能继续往前顶，DPC PK， 看看往前继续过来追。这边伐木机打了波 AOE， 整个这边那个起风的状态不是很理想，而且 CK 还得被开白熊继续黏住，给了个闪之后补了个变羊。这个位置 CK 先行阵亡，虽然说这个位置小白也被补了，但是小白是可以买的。这个位置过来找到一个 CK 这个位置要稍微小心点，他是买活的，往上再一顶 ，CK 这位置被秒了，而且后面还留了一个起风了。这边怎么办？又被变羊。
还剩10秒，还剩5秒。请夜眼方挑选英雄，请天辉方挑选英雄。
上古巨神，
还剩10秒，还剩5秒。请天辉方挑选英雄。军团指挥官，请夜眼方挑选英雄。
莱恩。
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It is time to come back once again here. I've been hoping for this, Caps. You know it, I know it. We've been hoping for some tiebreakers, and we've got a couple here in the lower division. Of course, a three-way tie for the upper, for that second spot here. Phoenix, of course, winning the match yesterday against CDC means that they don't have to deal with that at all. But we've got Aries, we've got Magma, and LBZS vying for the second spot in a three-way tiebreaker. So it's going to be another best-of-1 round robin between those three. We're going to play 2 rounds of that at most, in case it end up tied up again. But that will all be happening later on Sunday or Monday. The details of that will be settled later down the line. For now, though, we have to decide which one of these teams will stick around in the DPC at all, and who will be eliminated. Will it be Xtreme Gaming, or will it be Demon Slayer? And Demon Slayer, to get to this point, they actually had to beat Xtreme Gaming 2-1 already a couple of days ago. So this should be very interesting, Kips.
It should be indeed, and Demon Slayer had to come from pretty far. Especially the one game they lost, they looked pretty hopeless, getting completely stomped. But luckily, after that, I pulled it back with a draft that actually I did not like when I saw it. 5 melee heroes, but you know what? With the Darkseer and with an Ursa, they made it work. So this time we have not 5 melee heroes for sure, because Demon Slayer already have the Snake Lady on the board. They got the Elder Titan as well. Xtreme have secured themselves surprisingly a first phase Legion commander into the Lion. I'm not sure if I like the LC picked up like that, because yeah, if you get a melee laner like that, then the Dusa is almost a shoehorn pick.
Yeah. I haven't had time to actually look at the draft because I'm trying to fix some audio issues here, which a bit annoying. Might have to really quick. No. Somehow the audio doesn't want to pick up on the monitoring device. Okay, I think I know how to fix it though. If I click this, if I click this, there we go, perfect. Alright, now I'm fully ready. Demon Slayer, yeah, you were talking about Medusa, as that safe lane, right?
Yeah, undoubtedly, versus the Legion Commander.
Yeah, it does make sense, right? Medusa very strong laner. And you kind of want a really strong laner up against the Legion Commander, who is normally very very much bullying anyone that you throw up against them, especially when it comes to these kind of classic melee carries that we are used to seeing. Medusa, one of the few ranged ones that are viable these days, but obviously picking up that Medusa early means that Xtreme Gaming can find ways to deal with that. I mean, even just line mana drain can actually end up doing quite a bit of damage to Medusa, and now add the Nyx Assassin on top, more stuns, more mana burn. It's not gonna be the easiest Medusa game.
Certainly not. I'm very surprised to see especially the Spectre ban instead of the Nyx Assassin. The one time that I've seen Spectre versus Medusa, she's done absolutely nothing. Like, sure, that's a Diffusal Blade, or Diffusal Builder, but that's also a melee hero who doesn't like man fighting in general.
Yeah.
Like, she thrives on picking off supports and in general just dealing damage by getting hit. But versus a Medusa, I haven't seen it work out yet, and I don't think it will.
Yeah,
So
it seems a bit odd, you know. I mean, Spectre you haunt in, and Medusa just presses R, and you can't actually use the Diffusal Blade against her, right? She's just gonna keep fighting at least for a little while. So it's a matter of kind of juggling that, and it's more down to your team to be able to kite that Medusa around and set up for the other heroes for the Spectre to pick off. And yeah, it's not as straightforward as just straight man fighting her.
it certainly is not. And I like this second support pickup from Demon Slayer here as well. I get a Tusk in there. I'm kind of hoping to once again see a Medallion Tusk instead of everybody keeps going Falcon Blade into Blink Dagger, and then nobody has a Solar Crest on their team. They're like, Tusk is a perfect Solar Crest builder. Just build it on the Tusk. But
yeah,
you're gonna have to see if they're gonna do it this time around.
Solar Crest has been nerfed, but it hasn't been nerfed that much, you know. Especially if you have a hero that has a high amount of physical burst, and if you also have a hero on your team already, could really benefit from some extra attack speed later down the line in the Medusa, so would make a lot of sense here. I think the Tusk gives as well is just a little bit of extra lockdown, but Xtreme Gaming have that in spades actually. I mean, you've got the duel for some long duration single target, you've got the Lion with some more lockdown and burst, and we talked about the Nyx Assassin stun, and now the Storm Spirit as well, very mobile, just taking advantage of the fact that Demon Slayer don't actually have any great solutions compared to Xtreme Gaming right now. In Tiny will... It's also not really lockdown, it's just a bit of an interrupt with some burst damage attached to it. But if Storm doesn't die to that, he'll just get to zip away.
Yep, and that interrupt can very easily be interrupted by a Nyx Assassin as well. Tiny doesn't feel that great into Nyx. It's pretty okay. But during your burst window, there is going to be the opportunity for the Nyx to waylay the Tiny a couple of times. Trial ban. I think they've gotten rid of most of the other counters right now. Arc Warden's still an option for Xtreme Gaming. I really wouldn't mind it in the matchup versus the Medusa. As a person, I do mind it, of course. Like Arc Warden. It's not often a very fun game to cast, but
not a fun
as
game
an
to
analyst,
play.
I have to say.
Not a fun game to play either if you're playing against it, at least. It's just so many chores that you have to do, you know? Just like, you can't go out and play with your friends, with your team on the other side of the map. No, you have to go back and deal with the trash. It's flooding your lane.
Yeah, and I think Demon Slayer are aware that Arc was one of the few heroes that that would still give him trouble, because with the Tiny and now this Night Stalker as well, neither Arc nor AM, which is another pick that I sometimes see into Medusa, are a good idea anymore.
Yeah. This AoE silence from Night Stalker can be extremely powerful, and that's gonna be the solution to a lot of things here. Solution to the Storm in particular, just making sure that he cannot just zip on out of there for quite a while. Yeah, and till... what was I gonna say? Until he gets a BKB, and this is not something the Storm necessarily wants to build, but might have to at one point here if this Night Stalker gets out of control. In general, there's a lot of in-your-face kind of drafts from Demon Slayer here.
Yeah, it's a little bit greedy, right? The Tiny and the Night Stalker both need items. The Medusa, of course, needs items. But both of their heroes that are going to actually be active on the map definitely need some a a little bit of economy first. That said though, the side of Xtreme has basically the same problem. The Troll Warlord is the only one who I'll really see going forward with, half of his farming item or something like that. But Storm Spirit, Legion Commander, neither of them particularly enthusiastic about going before they have their first item. So I do think we're going to see a bit of a slower start to this game. And that should favor Demon Slayers in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have heroes like Tusk, those are very different, right? They like to run around, they like to try and make things happen with just a couple of levels under their belts. So we'll see if they can combo up properly. We'll see how the lanes actually end up looking like. We're expecting this Medusa safe lane, but we'll see.
Safe lane Medusa should be fine versus LC. We have a Tiny versus Storm Spirit on mid, which is a little bit Storm Spirit favored, but I've seen Tiny do pretty well. And of course, both of them have an insane burst potential after the laning stage is over. Storm it with a higher mobility. I think the Storm's probably going to pull away from the Tiny a bit, but it shouldn't be too far. The only one who might have a hard lane is this Night Stalker up versus the Troll.
Yeah. How vulnerable the Troll really is to the Tusk plays there with the axes just being a little bit too annoying. There's that support from the stuns from the supports. Just interrupt to try and make sure that they can't really have any kill potential down there at all.
Yeah, this Troll Warlord should have no issues. So that's the general thing with Troll Warlord, though.
Yeah.
That's probably the strongest laning carry in the game. Back when Nature's Prophet support was a thing, we were on Vega Squadron. We were trying to desperately theory craft a lane that could win versus Nature's Prophet Troll, and we couldn't actually come up with anything. Like, Enchantress did pretty good because she had Untouchable as a non-ult back then. But then the laner was a complete mystery. We just had no idea.
Maybe a hero that hasn't been invented yet, These things.
Yeah.
But hey, here we are, a tiebreaker, best of 3 series, another best of 3 series. Of course, the very last one that they played was the one that led them here in the first place. Demon Slayer, they beat Xtreme Gaming. They got the 3 point up against Dragon, and that's about it for successes that they had. Xtreme Gaming, they actually beat Magma in week 3, if I saw that correctly, which it's not a mean feat. I mean, Magma have been picking up quite well. I mean, they made it up to the tiebreakers, the other tiebreakers for a second slot out of this division.
Yeah.
We'll see which teams actually end up showing up today.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice little toss back there. Storm actually in a lot of trouble. Is he gonna die? First blood with the tree toss. Yes, it is. Just like that.
Very, very nice for the Tiny to pick up. That's huge.
Once again, though, I'm glad that Storm is playing Storm. It's always a gift. Of stuns being thrown back and forth in these other lanes, as you might imagine. Ionit can be a bit careful here. Not taking too many of these mystic snakes in your face. They start adding up quite quickly.
You know the worst part for me about the Storm thing is that the players will still call him this guy when going on him.
Yeah, it's a bit problematic, isn't it?
Coaching pet peeves.
Yeah. Gotta get the complaint in whenever you get the chance, right?
Of course. It's very easy right now that I don't have a team. Nobody's there to be like, hey.
Gotta let it out somewhere, you know?
All the time. Yeah, and you can see your long GGG is very low on the CS charts compared to everybody else. Just there's nothing that you really can do versus this troll. You stay at range, he's gonna axe you. You come close, he's gonna axe you. And That looked for a second there like a bit of a repeat of the earlier situation. Luckily, Storm has a bottle this time with some charges.
Yeah.
And get right back up there.
A little bit more health to work with, so this time he does get to live, but you gotta be extremely careful. It's still very much vulnerable until you hit that level 6, until you get that extra mobility, especially if Rise ends up deciding to abandon long GGG down here. But right now he's required to make sure that this Nyx can't completely zone out that Night Stalker. Yeah, Tiny's doing just fine. It's
Yeah, again, we're going to see this Storm pull away a little bit. If he manages his mana right now he's actually out of bottle charges, surprisingly, so not going to be able to farm up as much as he would have wanted to. The Tiny keeps on putting the wave under his tower, which means that the Storm can't even go over and grab that rune to bottle up right now.
yeah. Might get a chance now after farming this one.
I love all these Chinese players with the Arkosh lines. They all have the Arkosh lines, D-Drop.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to comment on that. Apparently, some issues here with a couple of players. Hopefully, they'll be back soon.
Yeah, they have Arkosh voice line. No.
I mean, issues beyond the Arkosh voice lines, you know. That's a sign of questionable character, you know. Right, so with this Night Stalker not having a great time, do you think they'll be able to find this timing in the mid game where they kind of want to be super active and want to try and shut Xtreme Gaming down?
Yeah, normally you rush a BKB on that Night Stalker, but I'm not sure how comfortable he's going to feel about it this time around. At the very least, of course, he gets his natural power spikes. And there are a couple of heroes to kill here, so we're going to have to see if the breakdown of the laning stage brings him any more luck. Yeah, the Storm literally gets a TP support into mid. Instead of walking over to grab the bounty rune.
Long GGG very low, now Rise trying to be fancy here, but now he's the one in trouble. Slowed down, stunned up. That was kind of unnecessary. Long GGG was already out. No way he was ever going to be able to help with that go on the troll.
Maybe he just wanted a trip back to base. It is possible.
Well, he got that. It wasn't first blood, so not the worst thing in the world, I guess. But oh well.
You watch Aenid getting clobbered a little bit.
I think he'll be fine.
He's actually doing remarkably well in that lane. And he's got stacks behind him too. The Lion has left the lane several times already. And Aenid hasn't suffered one bit for it, so that feels really good for Xtreme Gaming. Now Long GGG.
Yeah, someone's suffering with these roots coming in. The shots aren't really helping all that much. A couple more right clicks will be enough. Not get to the neutral creeps for that deny. So it looks like the stack's actually going to be farmed up by the Storm here. As he's taken over the lane. So that's why we see the CS differential being there for the Storm. But of course, neutral creeps a little bit less valuable on average. What?
Yeah, that's a tip. You gotta respect the timing, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of firsts. It's very, very questionable. And now Tiny as well, going in again on the line. Doesn't quite find a toss on the right target though.
Yeah, if you had a tree there, that's probably another kill.
Yeah.
Lion knows his limits slightly better than Storm, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I'm not sure either way. Yeah, that's the second time now that the Storm Spirit hasn't really taken this Tiny seriously, and this hero has been absolutely owning, dude. You have to be very careful about it.
Almost also level 6, but he hasn't taken his ultimate. 2 points in each of his other skills. Not necessarily usual, but if you're jungling full time anyway, not gonna have to be too worried about escaping mid. Well, bottom line is Tiny with a couple of extra kills on his belt, 700 gold ahead of the Storm. Troll in the middle there between them. Medusa having the best time up here, but it's a Medusa, right? She's gonna be farming her jungle, farming it very efficiently as the game goes on.
Yeah, and she's been keeping this LC down a little bit, which is also nice.
Yep.
And then the most suffering lane, of course, being the Night Stalker one, which was pretty expected. And yeah, I don't think I've ever caster cursed any lane as successfully as the Storm Spirit versus Tiny one here.
Slightly Storm favored, by the way.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It sure is, and they all know it.
I mean, what can you do? I mean, that first kill, that first blood, alright. I mean, it happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
That second one should have never happened.
I mean, sure, pull him under the tower, get some tower shots in, but please, don't stand next to him.
There you go with the shots, Rise, making the rotation up top. Looks like it might be successful. Ioned very tanky though. Is he tanky enough with the stick charges? Everall might be. Aqua goes in, misses that stun though. Still enough interruption. That kill to not materialize, so at least they throw him out. Storm almost dead again in mid. Well, with the combo being spent, do this a little bit more freely, and it picks up a regen rune, so. And a big stack to farm with it. Oh my god. Ah, let's just get cancelled. It gets cancelled! Big place! Still gonna be able to farm the stack mostly. That being said though, never mind. Just walking in. Spirit a little bit too dangerous here, especially with Tiny also roaming in.
Your big creeps belong to the Tiny now.
Yeah. All of them. Also scout out that ancient stack, so. Ideally, you want to maybe try and make a rotation in for that. Two, the shots connect on the line, and there's Tiny right there. The Hex comes out, stun, but he's still available, especially with the Storm coming back in. Maybe they would dove in a little bit too deep. Nice little Stomp though, extra stun, not out of tower range already. Storm trying to go in. I don't know if that's enough here. Another jump forward, but maybe a bit too deep. Another avalanche, now a couple of right clicks to turn around. Beautiful double stun there from Aqua here. Storm still alive, Rise not so much. Airspike from line, not connecting.
Much better to lose your Dusk there than your Tiny though, so.
Absolutely.
Decent job for Demon Slayer there. Aqua is still on the prowl though. Storm going in for the Kaya. That could be a Kaya into a BKB. Man, do I love that Christmas tree. That Christmas tree is so good.
Very trinket as
Tiny,
well.
Blink Dagger, Echo Saber, Shard. The works. I'm the most interested in the item build of the Night Stalker here. As we see on the bottom lane, this is going to be a Battle Fury Troll. So it's going to take his time at least a little bit. Of course, the Dusa definitely will take the time as well.
You need some way to keep up with the Medusa, right? There's another engagement happening in mid, going straight for sold out on his Elder Titan. Nothing to throw at it. With the Invis Rune, Blink Dagger just delivered. This could be something, especially if Rise can set up for OOQ, but he knows that something's up. The shots connect on him. Link forward with the full combo. Burst him down before he can get a chance to ulti. Very nicely done. Darlie taking over mid.
Oh, Darlie gets all of the mana. That's very nice. Yeah, this Medusa sitting in mid now is going to be so hard to go on, so that's going to be troll for Xtreme, especially because of course the Medusa can also always live long enough to get these support TPs. So I think that some keywords going down. Sold Out knows Aqua has been around. He doesn't trust it. He's actually pinging that hill. He says, alright guys, I think that's warded.
He comes in, the
You're right.
silence wasn't actually in range for long GGG, but shots came out already. We're just buying time for Tiny to come back in. Storm also making the rotation through though. They decide not to fight, probably giving up Rise as a result. Not even an avalanche thrown in to try and create some chaos. So.
He's dead. Hold your mana.
Force some rotations at the very least, but also spending some time there on the Tiny, not farming.
And in the meantime, we haven't looked at the LC in a while. The LC was the one core over on Xtreme who had a little bit of a worse lane, but nobody has been top in quite a while.
That line, but there's Heroes Riddle coming through. The duel as well already in the. It's a very quick win. Now Dali showing up once again just to be annoying and just to be, hey, no step further here, please. They've already got what they came for. They got the duel win. They got the Tiny with it too.
They did. And they have the top tower, while Demon Slayer has not broken through the bottom one yet, so...
Yeah.
It is time for Demon Slayer to step it up. I'm probably going to have to go for bottom, but that one, yeah, the Radiant Port's just timed out. You got a pretty good opportunity for yourself there. And going for the full pipe. We've seen this before for some Legion commanders, they just rely on everybody else to deal the damage. And they build like a traditional offlaner. And so, alright, fine, this duel is just lockdown. He has a Nyx assassin, he has a lion to provide the damage for him. That should be pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Or the Storm just jumping in on top of his target. Like, there's plenty of options for Extreme Gaming to ensure that, so it makes a lot of sense. This pipe will kind of diffuse this Tiny burst somewhat if you can get it off at the right time.
Yeah, very important, especially for his supports in the mid game.
Yeah. The thing, I mean, Tiny is he's kind of one-dimensional in that way until much later in the game, where you really need to get some quick kills with this combo and then go back out and then recharge, because you're not going to be right-clicking a whole lot after that, right?
No, absolutely not. Tiny, really, I mean, at the very least, he has a very good guaranteed way of farming up now that at level 20 you can, or level 20, excuse me, minute 20 you can buy the shard. But it is a little ways off, and you can definitely feel useless before you get back over there and you get your perma tree up.
And Fury completed, so it's going to be farming a triple ancient stack on the troll. He's right up there with the Medusa right now. That is an impressive feat at 14 minutes.
He's most likely going to build a diffusal after BKB, and then it's go time.
Yep. Look at Storm, who's also almost caught up with the Tiny. Marco with his level 6. Look for targets.
So the torch has been passed to the Tiny to make something happen to Tusk. Just grabbing some CS in the top lane, dreaming of a blink dagger of his own as he watches his lion.
Ooh, they're going in, saw them sold out. Gonna have gone on first here. There should be a free kill, and it is indeed. Another jump forward, a duel on Night Stuck for anything can happen. Some infinite scaling happening right there. They might give up Aqua for it, but perfectly happy if this is where it ends. There's gonna be another blink available over onto the line. Goodbye, and maybe some exchange, but snowball safe here onto Ionid with Dali popping that ultimate rise. Super low, they're just clicking him instead and they get the kill. Nothing turned into stone in time. Demon Slayer give up another trade.
Demon Slayer clearly know that they need to bring him in order, because the enemy is going to be 5 as well, but this Dusa just doesn't really deal any damage just yet.
No. Unless you get a good bounce somehow, but very hard to do that without creeps. Yeah, I mean, it was still very much successful for Extreme Gaming. You've got the infinite scaling on the Legion Commander and the line at the same kill.
And most importantly, you kept the door to the bottom tower shut.
Yeah. Cannot complain whatsoever. Storm is now slightly ahead of the Tiny. Goal is still right up there with the Medusa, so yeah, Extreme Gaming can be quite happy with going on. Aqua trying to be fancy here, misses that stun. They're fighting for a rune that doesn't even spawn there. As Demon Slayer come back in here, that's almost a kill on Storm, but he does finally jump out. Or to snap back. They have to settle for the support, but a kill's a kill. Especially if they can turn this into a tier 1 tower. They're bringing in everybody again, including the Medusa.
As I think they have to. Demon here, NATO?
What? There we go, saw him now. Oh, shit. But I don't think it was ready for that. Anyways, not even getting the kill. Long GG stun up, shots, block him in a little bit, but can't dive fast down. Not with all these DPs coming in. Nice little stomp to slow them down.
A very good stomp out of Sold out there. That's a disaster if he doesn't land that.
Oh, very low, but not low enough to stun. Medusa's completely out of mana, but manages to heal up, and now the turnaround comes through here with the Medusa ultimate. They're just tearing through 2 cores. Stick gaming, ladies and gentlemen. Aqua gets caught by the shots as well. Rise, big snipe. And that's 3-0, plus the tower going down. How did this one go so wrong so quickly?
They fought face forward into the Medusa as well as they were grouped up for a full tiny combo on both of their cores there. Very unfortunate. Yeah, they just sort of did that to themselves. And you gotta try and hold the tower there, obviously, but they were not spread out whatsoever.
If Medusa was out of mana, like they thought, it would have been fine, but she had enough stick charges to get a full one. I mean, she could still get that ultimate out. If there was some mana boots in there as well from someone.
What I think happened is that she wandered, then she snaked into like 4 heroes.
Yeah.
And then she popped ult.
Yeah. Oh boy. It's like that. We've been talking about the net worth between Troll and Medusa. All of a sudden there's a 1,000 gold difference again. There's a bunch of cool items dropping here. The Grove Bow, Quicksilver Amulet, the Money Ball.
Medusa gonna be taking that Grove Bow, no doubt.
Yep.
Money Ball. Probably, I'm not sure if you give it to the Tusk if you want to make things happen with him right now. There's the BKB for the Night Stalker. Yeah, straight up rush.
That goes down finally now, so now they're taking the tower advantage. Of course, taking the tier 1 tower mid as well, also. Very, very good if you can keep your own one alive afterwards, which is the case. It's Tiny looking for another target, but once he's eyeing it, not really easy to burst down at this point.
Their presence has been fully established in this lower jungle though. They got 2 wards. Got the Night Stalker taking his time to hit all the creeps. He definitely could use a little bit more one-on-one time with those. And he's pretty lucky in that regard because he's got a Tiny to make space for him. Xtreme would really want to do something about that mid tower.
Goodbye, Lion. Nothing anyone could do about that one, as, okay, Aqua. He just wanted to D-ward with his courier, and, well, he does not get punished even though everybody is here. A lot of Demon Slayer, apart from Dali, of course, who's, go farming away.
That right there was a really...
Storm, he caught on the rune!
Oh no.
That's not good.
Oh. Definitely not. I mean, I just had to have a giggle at both the teams playing 4+1 with the 4 on one side of the map, and therefore the carries just sort of trying to take each other's stacks in the jungle. But yeah, Storm once again, and there's the AoE silence from the Night Stalker. That's gonna be a problem. It's gonna stay a problem as long as that Storm Spirit doesn't have his BKB. He should be working on one right now, though.
Yep. Connect on Aqua here. They can lock him in. He was just trying to D-ward while they were taking Roche. Without his team backing him up, he is very dead. BKB online now for Storm, at least. So, a small little icon on the top.
These are so useful. I find when I cast other tournaments, I find myself looking for the smoke and the BKB icons, the refreshers, the gems. They're not there. Dang it.
We are being pampered here for sure.
We are.
Perfect gold production. Roshan dies very, very quickly here, courtesy of Tag Team. That's an Aegis Medusa. Next stop, a Rapier, and then the game is over. This was miracle gameplay, then yes.
Yeah. Well, hold your horses for a little bit there. It's going to be Agnums first and a Butterfly. It's going to force this Troll Warlord into building an MKB, which is not really on the way. Especially not because he builds a diffusal.
No, not again.
First.
Storm, slow down. There's a Storm, there's the Splitter. And, well, not enough damage this time without the Night Stalker. But at least they forced that BKB. Beeping out. That was so close.
Oh my lord.
He was sticking around for a long time. That Avalanche was just slightly further ahead. This would be big, but now initiation in, trying to burn some of this mana. Aqua still here with a follow-up stun, but don't quite have enough to go for a duel there. No Lion. Bit of trouble perhaps. Escape path for taking out the Avalanche toss combo. Also connects an eye in it. Storm a little bit too late to the party here.
Soldat's already got a Glimmer Cape, and there's Medusa stuns as well.
Aqua doesn't quite get the tiny courier. Oh man. Well, at least Stroll is still farming. He's going for an S and Y after that BKB.
Yeah, so Battle Fury BKB as in Y, that's not a Diffusal, and that's not an MKB either. It's going into Basher, that's... Who's going to deal with this Medusa?
Good question.
I would love to ask it to Xtreme right now. I mean, you gotta work around her for a part of the game, right? The problem is just that this Medusa is extremely farmed and the window to work around her is rapidly closing.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna have to fight her or else she's just only fighting you.
She's going to be unignorable by about 30 minutes into this game.
At the very least they do have a lot of stuns, so if they end up in a position where they can somehow kill the rest of Demon Slayer, which seems unlikely as well. I mean, Tiny and Night Stalker are both very tanky as well, especially with these BKBs in their hands too. It's gonna be hard to kill them off unless they get some really good initiations a couple of times in a row.
The Tiny's moving into Daedalus as well. Small pops.
Find the Storm, has to pop the BKB. He's trying to make use of that somehow, at least getting the wave down very quickly, but this tower's still gonna go down. The Tiny swinging the big old tree. First tier 2 of the game, and Demon Slayer, do they even want to stop? They certainly don't. They have a new wave coming in. Just a couple of moments, 1.5 minutes left on the Aegis. They have a very strong Medusa. And they have a Tiny to click it down these towers. He has that shot now, so... never mind, he doesn't. Thought he had. Without that though, plenty of damage on the tower. Dali kinda low on mana, wanna be a bit careful. So Storm connecting here. Q, he's still fine. Starts a right click away. As Medusa might be able to get her once. Absolutely fine at this point. That being said, it took them a while with the lifesteal coming in. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to use that Aegis. If they can take this tier 3 very early on, and that would be great. Nice little toss back here into the sun. Sun is in a lot of trouble. Beautiful Ravage stun coming through. Not enough to keep him safe. Dali with the kill. The tower will go down.
Did Night Stalker just deny a creep there?
I believe so, yeah.
Go
back in again. Very, very dangerous here. BKB's come out with silence. Another Ravage stun though coming through. Storm controlled up before lost their follow up here. No OQ stunned in the middle. He has the ultimate to work with, but he cannot even get it off.
No.
Not sure it would have made a difference. It's 5 against 1 at that position. All of a sudden, XG find themselves bullied in their own base.
And this is the problem when a pick-off lineup such as Xtreme, which of course can work around that Medusa, doesn't actually get to make a whole lot of pick-offs happen. Once they're up your high ground, you can see that the entirety of Demon Slayer can stand literally on each other's toes, and there's no AoE damage whatsoever to punish it except for a couple of stuns.
Yeah.
It's just the Earth Spikes from the Lion and the Nyx Assassin that can do anything against them. And even when then the BKBs will just be activated, but there's no, you know, no Ravage, no Phoenix Egg, no nothing. They can hold hands while they stand on top of your racks, and there's just nothing Xtreme can do about it.
2 or 3 Ravage type stuns there from XG, but yeah, there's no way to actually threaten them. Storm just randomly dies again, solo to Tiny. We've seen this one before, way too often. The guy's 10 and 1.
It was a pretty funny move the first time around, but I'm getting kind of tired of it.
Gonna tell the same joke over and over again, you know? No. At some point it hurts more than it's funny.
Yep.
Slayer in complete control of this match right now. They've got the outpost, got another tier 2. And what's to stop them from going high ground again? They gotta be a bit more careful here as they do not have that Aegis on Dali. They have a catapult wave, they have the Solar Crest.
Yeah. This courier is waiting for the money for the butterfly.
Too far away with his power ends up going down. Could be it is yeah. Get the tower.
Man, the Nyx Assassin mana burn isn't even very effective against her right now. What that happens is that you trigger a snake from the shard, and then she gets at the very least your mana back.
Yeah. That upgrade has been so good.
It's pretty incredible. And it bounces too, so at any point, if you want to take the Dusa down, you're going to have to do it either without right-clicking her, or you're going to have to go through her mana pool twice. Oh, sorry, without targeting her, excuse me. Only right-clicking her.
I mean, at least it's only once every couple of seconds. So,
yeah, once every 12.
Yeah, once every 12.
But
and it doesn't bounce. The one is a
it
single
bounces.
target. It does?
Yes.
Description says it's a single target snake.
I tested it. It bounces.
What? Dodo's lying to me again. God damn it.
Yep. Tooltips.
Well, in that case, it's even worse. So.
Yep. I'm not sure if it's supposed to bounce.
Oh god, it's a halberd. One of these ways where they could be holding the Medusa down for just a little bit longer, but it's gonna be, what, 2 or 3 minutes at this point? Yeah, 2.5 minutes until that materializes. Look at this quick buy. 6 blink daggers.
Yeah. Sadness.
I don't know if even 1 blink dagger would help them at this stage. I'd say it's just 5 many down lanes anyway.
Yeah, and I think that if they actually wanted to get a pick-off game going, and what they should have done is at the very least make space for their Lion or someone like that to get a very early blink dagger so that A-Unit could buy that pipe. Yeah. It did not happen.
No. So, doing now is playing it smart. They're taking control over this Roche area, making sure that vision, they can get all of these couriers, all these items that they want. The full deal is completed on Tiny, and now they're gonna move into Roche. Aegis, Cheese, and the Shard right for the taking. There's nothing that Xtreme Gaming can do about it.
Yeah, there's... Yeah, why not get that for free? He hasn't exactly needed to farm throughout this game. Why buy it yourself? You can get it now. Medusa has her butterfly. I think she's unkillable now.
That smoke. Well, this time he gets the blink away. Now counter initiation on Tiny's could be big, but it's way too tanky now. With the counter once again. Goodbye 1, goodbye 2. Storm is next. Can't even zip out. Buyback from Nyx. Public available still on Storm's bird, but it's just so little on Xtreme Gaming right now. Nothing you can do against Medusa once, let alone twice. It's a dieback immediately. And they're just calling it GG. Well played.
Yeah.
Game fell apart for them.
Yeah, not even all that quickly. Just a slow slide into Snake Lady territory. And you don't want to go there. I've seen a lot of teams go there recently, and you don't want to go there.
You don't want to... No, you really don't. It was just... I mean, it wasn't off to a good start with Storm dying just twice even. As we go immediately into the... Yeah, this is the first blood. Right there, a couple of tower shots with a tree being thrown.
Yep.
A few situations here where they're kind of... Not great target fire, you'd think so, but they can still get a couple of kills here with the dual wins. They were never able to transition that into more.
Yeah, like they hold this bottom tower very well, so it takes a while for Demon Slayer to really get any space going on the map, but at the same time they're not really doing anything with that space either.
Good trades here, 3 for 2 with duels coming through. Then this Tiny just popped off. Simon didn't get that kill. I believe this fight was a little bit more awkward than that. But nice disengage because of that stomp.
Yeah, and then here they're all going to jump into the face of, well,
God, yeah.
especially the fact that Sold Out is basically in the middle as well. Like, he's just going to be providing that aura the entire time.
Yeah.
He can just stand there. Nobody's focusing him. And a big overwhelming odds. Yeah, too little, too late.
That extra kill because of the shards. Rock and Aqua in, so waiting for the Tiny to reload.
And we're going to see the same here again. They just have no AoE damage, so there's nothing they can really do versus a choke point siege like this.
Through, able to get Medusa once, but that's fine because she had Aegis. So.
Yep.
Even then, it took them quite a while.
Such a ridiculous hero right now.
You go 1, 2, 3, 4 heroes stunned. Doesn't matter because Q couldn't go in.
Yep.
Even if he did, he wouldn't have had a lot of damage. Another triple stun.
No damage, and they have pretty decent right-click damage, but right-click damage is the stuff that scales deeper, and it's nearly always single target, so yeah, it's too early.
Some nice little snowball saves in there, just for the lulz. Storm, way too much. They're thrown out, and yeah, MVP Tiny for sure. Kill participation rate 95.8%.
Mm-hmm.
It is, well, there's something.
Absolutely excellent game for him, yeah. And I'm gonna bring these up every single time, but these guys look so cool with the logo behind them. So that the swords on their back.
Really
Amazes me every time.
Right, with that, put a nice little bow on game number 1. The Demon Slayer has not lost their mojo after the last time they played against XG. We'll see whether that can materialize into a 2-0 or whether XG can come back and keep their hopes of staying in the DPC alive, because, well, that's what it's all about. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back soon. Stay tuned.
还剩10秒，还剩5秒。请夜眼方禁用英，请天辉方禁用英雄。还剩10秒，请夜眼方禁用英雄。还剩10秒。还剩5秒，请夜眼方挑选英雄，请天辉方挑选英。
上古巨神，
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is time for game number 2, perhaps the deciding game here. Demon Slayer up 1-0 with a very good performance in game number 1. Xtreme Gaming, like they didn't quite, seems like they haven't quite woken up just yet, but well, they're gonna have to, because the tournament lives are on the line, or I guess the next season's lives are on the line, because this is the tiebreaker. The winner of this one will get to stay in the DPC, the loser will be out. So, well, maybe just steal the other team's draft then, as they got the Elder Titan.
Yeah, the loser will have to come back through the opens again, which is would especially be annoying for Demon Slayer, who just got through the opens to get here.
Oh yeah.
So let's see about that. So far, at the very least, they don't have stuns, but they have a lot of damage. And once again, they present Xtreme with a pick that they're going to have to deal with in that first phase. Last game it was the Medusa, where, you know, we didn't really see an answer for it in their draft, and as the draft went on, most of the answers got banned out. This time, Xtreme Gaming do something that I very much like. The enemy presents you with a puzzle to solve. Alright, fine, we'll also give, you know, we'll give that right back to you. So, Faceless Void immediately picked up. Now they get to ban the counters, they get to have that Faceless Void. And Demon Slayer can do the same, but they're going to have to think in the rest of their draft about what exactly they want to do against this Faceless Void.
Yep. To maybe get rid of some of the better combos. So the Phoenix in the pool is one of the classic ones, perhaps. Anything that throws in a lot of damage inside the Chronosphere. You've already got the Elder Titan to kind of set up for one to throw in that Earth Splitter.
Yep, absolutely. So they go with the Death Prophet classic combination. I don't think I like that one as much these days, because it's all physical. I like the early magic damage more, so your Alinas, your Snapfires, you brought up the Phoenix. All very good bans. I think in this game the Phoenix maybe not, depending on what kind of carry you're looking to pick up. That Snapfire has been very popular recently. Take out the Tiny instead, okay.
Afraid of retaliation from that last game. We just they got an Elder Titan. What if they take out Tiny as well? Of course, that kind of burst damage, pretty good against Enchantress and Timbersaw, so makes sense, and this draft as well for them.
Yeah, and ET Tiny just slaps in general.
Oh yeah.
Medusa ban, very good. I do think the Demon Slayer would have gone with that again, and yeah, they ban out the Phoenix. Okay. So Snapfire available, but maybe they want to get that themselves. I think that Snap's a very important ban, not just because you have the kisses, of course, in combination with Chrono, but also because this Faceless Void will really profit off of the minus armor that the little Shredder build and the Solar Crest is going to give him. So
yeah.
I think if they leave it in, Xtreme would be very happy to pick it up. You also get a stun, which is something that they lack right now.
Yeah, wouldn't mind that at all, but well, Demon Slayer not taking it away either. Instead they go for the Lion, which can be quite good against Void as well before he hits that BKB. I mean, there's nothing worse than getting a Chrono out and then you just get hexed by a line inside of it.
First hexed, then earth spiked, then the team turns and you get a finger to the face for good measure.
The big feels bad man moment.
Definitely fills up the void that they have in their stuns a little bit better. And Xtreme is now really thinking about that pick. Hey, just give me the points, Xtreme. Just pick the snap. Do it. It's well, it's the other
look like
flavor from
Snapfire, yeah.
Rage. I
Well.
see.
They've got a lot of crowd control now between
Mhm.
all of their three heroes. With Demon Slayer, they really don't.
Yeah, not that much. I think Xtreme has learned something from their previous map and are now overdoing it.
At the very least, Willow is the kind of hero that can solo kill people. Maybe not the Ursa, but certainly the line if you get the stun out, the Enchantress, even maybe not the Timbersaw, but you can do a decent amount.
You can deal tons upon tons of damage to both that Ancient and
Yeah.
Timbersaw. The Willow is very good against both of those heroes.
Alright. Mars coming out, speaking of overdoing things.
Yeah, well, that area control thing, right? I mean, the Mars Willow combination is of course a classic by now because you're going to be casting the Terrorize, making them run into the walls, feels very good, and you're going to have the Bramble Maze to follow up on that as well, either on the Mars Arena or on the Chrono. You're going to have Earth Splitter for into either of those big circles. Like the synergy in the draft feels very good, but by now the problem is the damage output. This is what you get when you pick AoEs. Heroes usually have either AoE or damage.
Yeah.
And
I mean, with the ults, they can definitely kill people. But if they start to fall behind, if they start, if some of these spells don't connect, or if they're not enough, then things get a bit dangerous. You know, you can think of the Timbersaw, like if he gets a hood and stuff like that, maybe he gets to live through that initial barrage. And what else do you have to offer then? Like you go on an Ursa, but it gets the ultimate out at an inopportune time for you, and all of a sudden you just don't have anything left.
Yep, the Ursa definitely does not care too much about things like the Bramble Maze either once he gets his shard up, so your time being able to kite this guy around is pretty limited. And in general, like Ursa, if he has a good lane versus his Mars as well, which is very possible, then the Mars is not going to be able to stand against the damage either. Of course, if the Mars has a better lane, then the Ursa will just be bouncing off the bulwark all game. But so far, Ursa looks really strong right now. I haven't really seen any Marses be able to really capitalize on that lane just yet.
Yeah. It's one of these lanes where you can really... Well, it can happen really easily that you as a Mars are forced to just go back to the old standard where you just walk in, press your spells, and then walk away from the Ursa again, because if these hero swipes start to stack up, then any amount of pointed bulwark won't save you against it, so... Oh, the bristleback, and another... Ooh, that's very interesting. It's certainly
so
adding another
Demon-
one of these heroes that are very, very hard to kill. And that's the other way to do it, right? I mean, if just force the other team to blow everything on one person, even if they get that kill, they have nothing left for the others, you know?
Yeah, this looks very much like Demon Slayer. Alright, fine. You didn't have any AoE control last game, you don't have any damage now. And of course, Atlina is a very good addition, like her low cooldowns, her spammability are going to make for them actually being able to play tempo on Xtreme even when they don't have a Chronosphere. She's going to do very nicely together with that Arena. They have an Elder Titan to protect her as well. I really like that last pick, but once again, Demon Slayer have a very clear condition in their draft where it's just like, if you ever fall behind on Xtreme, you're not going to be able to take any of their cores down anymore. And this time you can't. I guess you can jump the backlines, but it's going to be a lot harder for you than with the previous draft. So once again, I really like the angle from which Demon Slayer is approaching this game. I seem to really love putting that Timbersaw problem that they put up in front of the face of Xtreme all the way at the start of the draft is still not all that addressed.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, they have ways to kill him, but they're few and far between. Like there's very specific ways that you need to do that. I don't know if there's gonna be many guilds where Lina is not involved.
Yeah, it will
Or-
always
yeah,
require Alina.
it's-
She's going to have to lift everything today. So I hope she's been to the gym. I hope she's had her protein shakes. Because they need one swole lady.
Yeah. She definitely has a lot of work to do. They do have a lot of tools to enable her to do that, though. So, again, all of these circles that we've been talking about are kind of... They have the potential to make life very easy for Lina if she just gets to sit on the side of a team fight and click away and cast her spells the way she wants to. You know, it's normally a problem that Lina has, where if she finds herself man fighting against even a bristleback, right? It's not exactly that ideal situation. So, and again, yeah, that's all gonna come down to the lane. It's all gonna come down to how they can handle the momentum in this game.
And especially like the item progress is very important for Demon Slayer here as well. They're up first is an Elder Titan who's going to be taking all the armor away from these heroes. Of course, these are all strength heroes. They won't have that much armor to begin with. Most of them just relying on the raw HP instead. And all of them should be looking to grab an armor item this game. AC for the Ursa most likely. Timbersaw, Shivas, or Lotus, Bristleback. Probably Lotus, but any of them can build the AC. Maybe not the Timbersaw, I guess, but he could if he wanted to. That's the stupid thing with Timbersaw. The item doesn't necessarily have to be useful for him in order for it to be useful.
And if it's useful for the team, it's fine as well, because you're generally going to be able to stay alive in a fight and provide that for them.
Exactly.
We'll see. Mid
We're going to
bristleback.
see. Yeah. Mid Bristlebog. So this is not a matchup I'm familiar with whatsoever.
I would
Hasn't
not expect you
happened for
to.
quite a while.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, Lina's
it's.
projectiles are quite slow. I think he's going to be able to turn his back pretty often. And of course, yeah, I don't think she expected this. She did not have a stick. And even though she outranges by a fair bit, it's not easy to stay away out of the range of that quill spray.
Be interesting to see how this one develops, but I guess with the changes to the runes and everything, like Bristle can also spam this quills to get extra CS very easily. Maintain his mana.
Next, one of the problems with Alina is that she often shoves out the wave and then makes it very hard for her enemy to shove out just as fast, get these side camps just as fast as she does. She's going to outfarm in general. And for one, Bristleback doesn't mind last sitting under tower, and secondly, he is very good at offhandedly stacking and taking camps as well.
Yep.
So it should not be too bad of a matchup for him at all.
Too bad either is OQ up top. 8-1 at the moment. At least the first couple of waves have been successful, but it might change now as Enchantress starts to run in with creeps. To be a bit dangerous at times. It's a bit interesting how this works. I mean, normally you want to be the ones blocking the camps up against the Elder Titan, you know, so stacks can't happen, so he can't buff himself up all that much. You also want to not let that hard camp spawn, so Enchantress doesn't have an easy access to a big creep. Go further into the jungle to make that happen for her.
Side pull, not quite successful here.
It's very awkward to maintain equilibrium in this lane.
Oh yeah. Sold Out's actually the winner here, pulling two of these creeps off, almost accidentally.
One of them is the range creeps, so can get the deny on that. Would be big, of course, as yeah, Aqua
I
trying to
don't think he's
contest
stick
this
around for
rune.
that Aqua.
I didn't get it. Now he's dead, is he? Not quite. Not quite.
Ooh.
Nice attempt though. Like if
Inches.
Bristol was a little bit later there, he would have just had that rune snagged away from them.
I mean, it worked out, but woof.
Calculated, as they say.
Mm-hmm. They do. Selena, outCSing a little bit. I almost want to say again, like, Alina should come out ahead a little bit in this matchup, but last time I did that, Storm didn't have such a good time, so how about I
Yeah.
don't cast her curse him this time?
Yeah.
As you can see, by the way, Bristleback already playing up pretty far. He was snooping at that side camp, seeing if it was stacked.
But mid. Ooh. Almost got sold out there. He's actually super low still. They're looking for the first blood right here with that Shadow Realm. Again towards Ionit. Darley gets the counter kill as the Shadow Realm ends. Right advantage there for Xtreme Gaming. Ionit though all alone now up against the angry Fuzzy Wuzzy. Nestles spear back and yeah, stick charges for another jump if he wants him, and he does! Double kill for him as he's just gonna deny himself before he can give over the XP.
Very
Oh,
nicely
man.
played by Darley there. That's the kind of plays I want to see out of that guy. He is holding down the Mars decently as well. But yeah, this bottom lane definitely the most brawly. The rest of them are just kind of farming in these lanes. Not a lot of action elsewhere. Nice little deny. Yeah, Alina, as much damage as she has. she's going to
Oh,
have to really
okay.
work.
Okay. The
Okay.
courier dies! The courier dies to the Quill Sprays. That was a nice play though, outside
Yeah.
of that. Just that stun, just enough time for her to get in front of him and use the Liquido Blade.
Takes quite some guts to do that, but you know what? Nicely calculated. Nice also that she had the bonus speed
Oh, yeah.
from the Fiery Soul to actually step in front of that. That was very necessary.
Yep. Aqua joining in, Dali, very aggressive. Spear not actually connecting. The stomp though certainly does, only on sold out. Should be able to bring him down with a couple of body blocks here, diving the tower. That being said, okay, Aqua taking a bunch of damage in turn as Dali does not run
Into
in.
deep this time.
Does not have enough damage to finish the job, so.
No, 1 versus 2, that was always going to work. 1 versus 3, not so much.
Yeah.
A brave attempt, but you gotta kind of wonder where the TPs were from their team. There was quite a bit of time for Demon Slayer to bring in, well, anybody else.
OOQ.
Oh,
Time
Q.
Walk did not last forever, and oh, get the illusion one as well, but it was a bait. It was a bait, Kips.
It was, and that's 2 of these tanky cores kind of overestimating their own tankiness within the span of a minute.
Yeah.
Water Titan's bot again. This Timbersaw is not yet at the place where he can actually pressure out that top tower and start demanding answers, so this other Titan has quite a lot of space to roam around. And that means at the end, well, she better be very busy making those stacks. Otherwise, her presence would be more required on this bottom lane, where Darley once again, little hop.
The side follow up stun, and yeah, they don't really
Doesn't
want to
wanna.
keep going here. Dali's super low, not level 6 yet either. So jump away, sold out. Looks like he'll be going down, and Dali not really in fighting shape either.
No, that was a really sold out's decision to go, and Darley was never all that committed. As we watch, Storm is actually out of mana here.
GG trying to run back in, the Jukes have been successful. Oh, Storms, can he get the courier on the way back? He can. Not. That's what I meant to say. So straight TP as he sees Rise showing up. Nothing there to cancel. It's just enough space to get out.
So now the Ursa is going to farm his way towards the triangle. Meantime, the Faceless Void has already shown up mid. He finds that haste rune. Don't think he wants any of that.
He's gonna take it after he's found that.
Yeah.
Did a nice coming through. Oh boy. Tier 1 for Tier 1 exchange this time around.
Very chill game.
That's right, yeah. A lot of kills for Xtreme Gaming.
Yeah, but it's not really doing anything for them apart from the EXP department. I think in general, these early kills are fine, but if the enemy doesn't miss any waves, then it doesn't matter all that much. And yeah, both kills of Demon Slayer are on Darley right now. I have seen that scenario before, where all 5 kills of a team were all made by the same Ursa. That one went quickly out of control in favor of the Ursa, so
Yeah.
let's see if Darley can find some more victims.
He's been pushed out of the lane and he was super low going into the jungle, but now he's found himself that possessed mask. He's also got that the proper mask of madness. Not quite. But he's got the lifesteal now to sustain himself, right? That's the point now. Has that diffusal blade queued up. So if he's left alone, he'll be getting to where he wants to be sooner rather than later. As Rise throws out the heals.
Neat little sidestep. Not quite enough. Timbersaw has switched lanes though, and now you use one of your big ultimates on a hero that, well, didn't matter all that much in the grand scheme of things, so long GGG is just going to move up again. Well, Darley, does it want to try? I don't think you try.
Commitments in mid here, OQ, jump forward into the Hex, couldn't quite get the Chronosphere out, but no follow-up here. Chronosphere comes through now as they're isolating the Timbersaw. He is tanky, too tanky perhaps. He finds a beautiful double chain with the self-planted tree here. Nice little drag back perhaps, and yeah, with that, they'll have just enough control to bring down 1. Can they bring down 2? Crystal back is a little bit too dangerous here as they're all out of spells, all out of mana. All is said and done, but yeah, they got 2 kills, not just the Timber, but also the Lion. Quick little bonus. And they defend the Tier 1 mid.
Exactly, it stopped off that aggression for a bit, but I think that Tier 1 is too low to really defend. Timber's just going to show back up again, and now you have no Chrono, you have no Arena, and no Laguna Blade.
Ooh, Dali. Then this time it does have the ultimate though. Still chasing. Another jump forward. If he can get a bash here, this would be big, but he could not quite get it. As alright. Solo kill for Sold Out.
Nice.
Seems good.
And now the middle tower, yeah, they're just straight back in there. Xtreme didn't have much of a choice there. The fact that they nearly got a couple of other kills is good. The fact that the Willow unfortunately died on the chase, less so. And I'm hoping this Timbersaw is going to go into a pipe immediately, since this team is really going to be using him as a battering ram. Also think that Bristle probably should consider an Eternal Shroud this game. I'm not sure if he thinks that tanks him up enough, but I really think that the magic resist is very good for him this game.
Looks like he wants some phase boots into Aghanim Scepter very early on. Sticks with that plan. Still looking for the diffused blade here, not really having easiest of times, but he's gonna get there.
Yep, he's gonna get there, and then he immediately hits a very big power spike compared to the Faceless Void, who won't really do anything for a while yet. And in general, Faceless Voids these days build very tanky. Early BKB, things like a halberd, that sort of thing.
Ooh, what?
Cheese long GG, yeah.
I yields you, but no, the Timber Chain was still going apparently, so snapping him out of that. I don't think I've seen that one too often.
No, that's a pretty rare one. Looks good though. Up you go. Oh no.
I think it interrupts the Timber Chain though if you use the Yules as he's going, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all about the order. Starly pushed out a bit too far.
Rage with just a couple of health points left, not really doing too much. As they're gonna get some revenge up here. At least Longevity somehow not caught by the stomp either, so he can chase a little bit further if they want. Yeah, they certainly do want. Here they have the tankiness to deal with the tower, no problem, and you know, fine. Another stomp coming through. Sold out is right there. The follow-up stun though, and okay, I'll get him eventually. Now into the arena though. One of them's on the outside, one's on the inside. Sold out, the more viable kill here. Eventually he'll be run down by OOQ. The other one's not so much. You can just clean their own path through the trees.
Yeah, neither of these cores really care. You
No.
can see Aeonid stepping around his arena like, I like this soundtrack, but apart from that, can't really do anything versus these cores. Only really if they catch one on their own and they can lay all of the damage in them. They need Storm. I mean, you said it in the draft. I completely agree.
Yep.
If they don't have the Lina, they don't have the damage, and that will remain that way for quite a while longer.
Alright, Diffusal only a couple hundred gold away as nice little
Well, clever.
play there. Starly, it's a bit of trouble. He's not going for the ult. Could have ulted there and walked out.
That is yet.
Splash
That
another
was-
beautiful blink again. Yeah, Aeonid making plays, and Rise will go down. He will fall. This tier 1 will as well. That's just
天辉钟塔已被摧毁，
not ideal.
天辉军团
And very questionable from the Ursa there to be that far up without really thinking about it. And now, I know where the bristleback is. I'm not sure if another clever spear from Aeonid will do quite as much this time around.
Not against those heroes. But yeah, they got the ones that they could kill. Ursa doesn't want the ults. Not sure it would have kept him alive, but would have certainly made things a bit more awkward. Would have dispelled the Willow stuff and whatnot. Going in there in the first place, he could have just farmed the wave and finished his item before just charging senselessly into.
Yeah. And there was a
Xtreme,
creep wave right there, D. Drop.
Yeah. I mean,
There
a carry
was, you
walking
can't
past a
argue with
creep
that.
wave? That's unheard of. Is that a real carry player? I don't think so. Oh well.
He can definitely go up that far if his team is pressuring on the other side of the map at the same time, if the Timbersaw is showing anywhere, but unfortunately for him, the Timbersaw was pretty far back at that time because they were just coming off of a round of aggression. So yeah, not quite a
天辉上塔
good place for a bear to be.
Okay, just straight up Chrono. Line walks into
no!
it. Follow up Stomp into the arena. Follow up, it's dead again. So is sold out eventually.
Oh, he
Oh,
was
disaster.
turning to react and touch the chrono. That's a big rip.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Unfortunate.
He
So,
tried his
yes,
best.
so far XG is allowed to use their ultimates like that to make these kills happen. Not really forced
Yeah.
to bash their head against the wall just yet. Here looks like Aqua might be a bit of trouble. Rise outside of that stomp range, but they've no.
Woo.
Nothing to cancel that TP, so a little bit too late to get an X range, so he tried to go for the finger. It's unable to do so. There's a BKB from Lena.
Yeah. She's going to be decently hard to bring down now. The Timbersaw doesn't do anything against this. The Bristle, yeah. She's going to be speedy enough to kite him. So really, this is the point where you'd like your Ursa to be online, your big physical damage dealer. But of course, he died 3 times in between the time where we said he's close to his diffusal to where he has it right now. The big power spike coming in, though, is this Bristle Aghanim Scepter. This is going to be pretty huge. It is going to be extremely hard for Xtreme haha to kite this around.
God damn it, Gibbs.
The AoE slow is serious. I mean, either I haha or I pretend it didn't happen, D-Drop. What would you like me to do next time?
I would like you to leave these kind of jokes to me, because it's my job.
I made an unbearable pun about an Ursa yesterday, and Ricky just went nice, like he really enjoyed it. And I was like, it takes all the fun out of it, dude. You need to either protest or pretend it didn't happen.
Oh man. Realized Ricky was a dad. Enjoying dad jokes like
But
that.
I think that's why his Daddy Fear cosplay worked out so well, right? He has those dad vibes.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen it, please look at our Cryptic's Twitter, look at his recent media, and tell me if you recognize the man in the mirror.
There's a
Ain't it?
spear, but no instant follow-up as the lion was right there. Dali gets an ultimate out, but still plenty of ways to kite him as it turns out.
He's so dead.
Very dead indeed. Sold out Iron It with a jump forwards. Dual Scepter into a spear. To a very clean second kill. Rise, Long GG, Bristle, they're all hanging around with an axe completed, but there's still an arena, there's still a BKB, they can't do any damage.
They can't do
to him,
anything
though.
first.
Alright, it's a Lotus Orb reflecting that ultimate onto Storm. Okay, that's a splat from the Earth Splitter with that follow-up.
There is the
A
interrupt.
little bit too much, and this is a full 5-man wipe, Gibbs.
It is, yeah, and this really has everything to do with Demon Slayer leading with Darley all the time. He's just not in the right position. If you have this exact same situation, except it's the Bristleback out in the position where the Ursa was, then Xtreme can't do anything. That would be a Bristleback with an axe completed with the entire team sitting behind him. You saw how long it took him to die. That's when you follow up, that's when you bring the Ursa into flank. That's where you can actually do things with the Timbersaw, but instead the Ursa dies first and you just sort of feed away these extra kills because they know they're strong. Demon Slayer are like, man, we have our timing, we should be able to fight. And this is an internal frustration, this is like... We should have been able to take this fight, so we're still fighting, even though, you know, you can't anymore, your Ursa's dead. It's very frustrating.
Scoreline 5-22 looks devastating. I mean, the net worth not as bad. All things considered, 6-7k, but Xtreme Gaming still in a comfortable position if they keep getting to fight with all of their spells online.
And I mean, it's not the biggest issue as long as, again, Demon Slayer would be ahead. And you can spend all your spells on them without them dying, but unfortunately not the case. Darley's a speedy boy.
This time he knew what was up. He's running away
He's getting ready
towards
for
his
the turn.
team, and there it is. Showing up. Down on the Bristleback. Axe spit does not connect on the Shadow Realmed Willow, but Shadow Realm doesn't last forever, so that's a very dead hero. And it's a couple of extra moments. Defensive arena here. Storm on the outside gets the Lion. Cover with that BKB. The Earthsplitters are trying to zone him out further. That LSA not connecting. Storm not trying to TP up. Beautiful spear to keep him safe. He would have died to Bristleback. Very angry little Muppet at this point.
Don't call him that to his face. or to his back,
no.
for that matter.
No.
But yeah, this... Look at how strong they are with this axe on the Bristleback. It's pretty insane. This is the fight that they wanted. There's no way Xtreme can actually do anything against this unless they have all their ultimates and they hit them right too. And that's why they took that really weird fight on top. This is what they wanted. They wanted to assert themselves. They thought, well, we can still do this. Turns out, yeah, they can. They're not idiots.
BKB in the works as well, but for now, Bristle kind of isolated, but it is still a Bristleback. LSA connects with every spell in the book that they have available. That'll be enough. Sold out next to Liz. He was hanging around to see if he could maybe help. Throwing some spells here and there, but he will die. Dark will be the exchange. The other side of the river, but the fight's not over yet. As a result here, Dali caught in the middle. Does have that ultimate to work with, but he's just being kited with the Yule Scepters. There will be another dead carry. XG right back on the grind, and they didn't even have to use Arena or the or the Chronosphere.
Yeah, at this point, Evasive Void has actual damage. Of course, you still have the Elder Titan synergy as well. Look at this man. Going in for the Satanic. Having a grand old time. Extremely hard to bring down by this point.
Yep.
And Demon Slayer really just sort of missed their window. They were waiting for that Aghanim Scepter on the Bristleback. It took quite a while to farm up, and in that time, I think that if you have to put like a little blame label on anyone, I guess it would be the Timbersaw not playing up enough, but he's the only one who could really do anything during that time window, and Long GGG might have had to die a couple of times more this game, and I mean that.
Yep.
If he dies instead of Darley, I think this game's Gucci for Demon Slayer, but that hasn't happened, and now it will never happen anymore. Xtreme have taken over.
He might die a couple of times, but that would not be. It would be on top of Dali, rather than instead of Dali. You still have a Bristleback who's very annoying to fight into on the high ground, I guess. Be a bit
Extremely.
careful.
He is so hard to take down still. You could see that even in the mid-fight they needed to take everyone's spells and throw them all on the Bristleback.
Yep. Also stun him up and hit him in the front, else that's... Like, if he gets to move, if he gets to always turn his back to the most dangerous stuff, then that was never gonna work.
The Spirit Vessel, of course, doing big work there as well. Going to be quite a lot less if this Bristle ever gets a BKB, but I'm not sure if he will.
He's
Right now,
working on it.
Darley has a BKB. Oh, that's a hasted Bristle. Dude, this is a one fight for Xtreme if they can manage to find the right targets. Yeah, BKB in the works for the Bristleback.
Yep. Xtreme also a bit spread out, but nowhere near Demon Slayer is at the moment. Smoke. Must have figured out that's, yeah, alright, they're gonna be starting to run into them now. The sold out. Lemon Cape a little bit too late. Stun missing on Aqua. There's the Arena Storm actually going in. Chronosphere comes through. Goodbye line. BKB on Darley keeps him safe. A little bit longer, and he starts to fight. LSA snap back. Couple of stuns here involved. Stun and BKBs and everything, but damage is real for XG. Another LSA connects. And there's just not enough DPS for Demon Slayer here. This Bristleback was not in the middle of this fight, and now he's not all alone. Rice still hanging around, but not to be able to bring him down, especially if they can hit him in the front. But well, the game's not over just yet. But another couple of another round of disables will finish the job, and they're just calling it. All right.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. They know their window has passed. Xtreme know their window is now. It's very realistic. I think this still shows that Demon Slayer have a very good idea of how they wanted to play this draft, what they wanted out of it, and they said, alright, we didn't execute it well enough, fine, you get to have this one. I think it's very realistic. I think Xtreme played that pretty well, but I honestly, I still favor Demon Slayer in this, matchup overall, because it looks like they have a good big picture idea of what they want their drafts to look like. And it's just misplays here. Overextensions onto Darley really cost them a lot this game.
Yeah. It's one of them. Just very nice heads up quick blink there from Iron. It's a very quick blink, couple of meters behind the Ursa, like an instant spear out. And another catch here on Rise. It's just this one as well. A bit unfortunate. Lion tried to get in with counter play, but yeah, just all the spells being used. Easy couple of kills. Demon Slayer were never able to punish.
And here, this is on the Aghanim's timing. You can see everybody streaming towards top, but the Ursa is already this far forward. He just took another wave again under a tower when nobody else was pressuring elsewhere on the map because they were coming forward to make the move.
Yep.
It's Darley really perplexing me now.
And they're still hanging around, still thinking, alright, maybe we can change this, maybe we can use that Bristleback.
Yeah.
And yeah, he stays alive forever. He's got the loads, gets the loads off from Timbersaw even. But then it's just too much. The rest of the ultimates to finish the job.
The chain interrupt. We've seen both the interrupted by the chain and the chain interrupted by the ults this game. That's just such a perfect fear.
Yeah. Well, doesn't matter if it takes forever to kill somebody if you have all that time. There's no way to punish it. Yeah, Demon Slayer were just too far apart from each other this entire game. Even this one, like if the kill is creep, maybe that works.
Yeah. It just takes too long to bring down Aqua here. And this BKB's really messing with the Bristle as well. And he just finish out everyone around him, and it's the problem that you get when the Bristle is not enough of a damage threat. You get the kite in, you can let him take down 1 or 2 heroes.
Yeah, the ult just ignore him until everyone else was dead, and I guess from Rise, but he didn't really count either. So that fight, 13-0. I believe Lina didn't die either.
Extremely convincing game.
Very different to game number 1 for sure, but well, how else could it be in this kind of a game here? Elimination on the line, and it's gonna come down to one last game, Kips. I'm very excited.
Me too. So let's take our break and get to it, shall we?
Let's do it.
方禁用夜眼方禁用英雄，请夜眼方挑选英雄。请天辉方挑选英雄。
莱恩，
请天辉方挑选英雄。
虚空假面，
还剩10秒，还剩5秒。请天辉方禁用英雄。
潮汐猎人，
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The scoreline is 1-1. Means we will have a deciding game number 3 right now. Either Xtreme Gaming or Demon Slayer. Let's stick around here in the DPC lower division. The loser will be eliminated and they'll have to go through the open qualifiers once again. Who's it gonna be? Game number 1 was pretty dominating from Demon Slayer. Game number 2 a bit questionable, a bit too much in your face when they weren't ready, when they didn't quite have the game go the way that they needed to for that to work out. So Xtreme Gaming was able to tie it up. So now, pretty solid draft starters here with the Faceless Void once again into together with the Snapfire this time around. We talked about that last draft, I believe.
Yeah, was very much looking forward to seeing her, and here she is. Really nice combination with these two heroes. Lots of reach, magic damage into the chrono, minus armor into the chrono, and for the Faceless Void himself. And yeah, that means you can really afford to build this Void very tanky, and you're going to just be building some attack speed, you can build some defense, everybody else is going to do the damage for you, you just jump around and bash. It's a grand old time.
请天辉方挑选英雄。
1 bash, 2 bash, 3 bash, maybe 4 bash?
3 bash? 4 bash is illegal. We don't do that around here. And yeah, I think Demon Slayer is going to look for a repeat. I don't want to say a repeat, but like a different kind of dish from the same recipe.
还剩5
A
秒。
remake, perhaps?
Yeah, a redo, a do-over. So, tanky tide up first. Very annoying for the Faceless Void to lane against. You can't really do anything as a Void there. You're just going to be getting all of your attack damage reduced. The tide just not give many hoots about being locked down, so very hard to chase him down as well. You just, in general, you don't win the man fight.
Yeah. Tide these days, in general, lends itself very well to a very straightforward idea of how to take the game, right? You just eat a big tanky watermelon, you can buy a bit of damage, or you can just go for these straight aura items like the Mag Kits or Guardian Greaves and all of that. And fit a shot in there in the meantime, you get the talent where you reduce damage even further with Anchor Smash. Then you can just run at towers, and the tower doesn't even do anything. You know?
Oh yeah, I love it.
You just walk up to a tower, they glyph, but it does 80% less damage. So the split shot doesn't even kill the creep wave.
请夜眼方挑选英雄。
Yeah, you can't go on a Tide Hunter. I mean, I guess you could with Chronosphere. That's one thing that he cannot purge off, of course. But otherwise, he'll always be able to get Ravage out to then counter-initiate.
Yep, and that's the big deal here as well, right? We had some heroes in the previous game that could survive this chrono or this arena whenever it came out. But then after that, they were still, you know, no big AoE reactions punish the fact that everyone was clustered around.
Yep.
Demon Slayer kind of having the issue that Xtreme was having in the first game. So now with the Ravage, just alright, if my Tide lives, you better run.
Yeah. Better run fast, because they get ravaged in the face. And there's some good chase as well from Demon Slayer already. I mean, if the Lion gets a Blink Dagger, he can follow up, and certainly the Clockwork with a hook shot.
Mm-hmm.
Also really good against the Snapfire. Always,
Yep.
if you can identify where she is, if she's throwing these globs from, you can hook shot straight in and cancel that. Same for the Witch Doctor ultimate.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what this clock pick is here for. You triangulate the position, and then as long as you have an angle, you can go in.
请夜眼方挑选英
Cool. Now we are damage into Chrono galore once again.
Yeah. Certainly have enough of that right now.
Yeah, so Demon Slayer's options are now really, are you going to tank through it again? You're going to try that? You could, it seems to be the intention with the Tide. Or they can try to have a bunch of heroes that will fight much more split, so that the Chrono will never be as effective. And this time, at least without a Mars Arena, there's one less circle to worry about. I was wondering about that guy. You can split with that, you can pick off, but he is still extremely tanky.
Centaur, actually, I believe, one hero that they've played every single game last time they met here in the regular best of 3 that they played.
还剩10秒
Extreme gaming that it is. They started with the Centaur every single draft.
还剩5
Now
秒
it's making it through to the last phase before being banned out.
请天辉方禁用英雄
Ursa, it is a Darley favorite.
Alright. It's the last ban gonna be then. Tiny shows up once more.
请夜眼方禁用英雄
Slardar. Interesting. Signals that Demon Slayer are probably looking for another melee safe laner. Usually something like a
请
Jug
夜
or
眼
a
方挑选
Life Stealer. Xtreme decided to take out the Spectre. Okay, but why would you ban Slardar if you're gonna pick Morphling? I think that lane's perfectly fine.
We're just trying to limit Extreme Gaming's lockdown, because outside of the Chronosphere, their lockdown is very limited right now. It's not
Yeah,
the
true.
cask and the cookie is not exactly reliable.
还剩10秒
So, and yeah, it's not a very similar hero to the Centaur in the sense that you have this Blink Crush, this Blink AoE stun to work with. Be it a Crush or be it a Stomp.
Yeah, and now Extreme, if they want another Initiator, the pool is pretty limited. I guess there's a Beastmaster still could work. Blink build not that popular these days, and you already have somebody to build your Solar Crest with a Snapfire, so meh.
Well, they have to decide soon. Only a couple of seconds left on their reserve time. Demon Slayer did not use any of theirs.
现在请选择
But
英
it's
雄
gonna be the Pangolier, so a bit more team fight on a lower cooldown.
Yeah, and Extreme definitely still have the team fight edge here, but I think Demon Slayer, if they layer their approach nicely, especially with the Tiny, you play with the Tide Hunter in front, you have good options to pick off the supports over on the side.
Yeah, they definitely have ways to get into that. Yeah, as I said, if you can play around the chrono, if you can also take advantage of when the chrono's on cooldown. You know, they have plenty of ways to just go in, find an initiation, be it with the Clockwork, be it with the Tiny, especially. Like he's gonna try and repeat his performance from game number 1, presumably.
Yeah, that looked pretty good.
So yeah, it's gonna have to be one of these games where Extreme Gaming is the one that's gonna have to be in the back foot, and Demon Slayer are gonna have to be the ones to dictate the pace of it. If they don't, if they just allow Extreme Gaming to take engagements when they want, then might look more like Game 2. So
Yeah, I think this is the most evenly matched draft that we've seen so far, in that even if either of these teams have a little bit of a wobblier game, it shouldn't be a 30-minute GG. Both teams have options for comebacks and pickoffs here. Both teams have AoE control here. Both teams have answers for each other's bag of tricks, so this could be a very good one. I don't think I even favor any draft in particular. I favor Demon Slayer slightly because they have shown a higher creativity in the previous maps that I've watched them, but this is by no means determined.
well, that's what happens sometimes in these low division matches. You have no idea what's. I mean, we have some idea of what to expect. because we are professional casters, of course. We know everything. But you don't know whether it's actually going to be like that at the end of the day as we dive straight in.
I'm gonna miss that transition animation, man. That
Yeah.
is so good.
It is really good. Gonna have a chance to use it once more, of course. The upper division tiebreak is gonna be at least 3 best of ones, maybe a second round of that if Game End favors us. That'll be happening either on Sunday or on Monday. The final decision has yet to be made there.
30秒后战斗开始。
So guys, definitely stay tuned for that. Areas, Magma, or LBZS looking for that second slot into the upper division for the next season. So that should be very hype indeed. OQ.
Just walks up. They didn't see each other there.
Yeah.
征战
It was
号
being
角
guarded. Oh, now
响
the
彻
interception
全
actually.
场
That's why he was hiding behind the trees. Ryan's gonna get a couple of clicks out.
Storm with the pause. So we're going to be having a Tiny versus Quap mid lane here. Wondering if we're going to see more points in Dagger from the Quap. Like these days, I think Dagger is pretty much universally left at either level 1 or 2 in order to just go for the screen. But this is a melee matchup, so who knows? And of course, we have seen this Tiny before surprise his laners, his counter laners, including this guy, Storm, with their burst damage. And the Queen of Pain can definitely die to Tiny if she's not careful.
Yeah. So we have a bit of a technical pause here, according to our contact. So long it's gonna go. Of course, the stream that we have is on a bit of a delay. So I guess we'll try and find out how long this is going. Hopefully, it's not something that takes too long to figure out. We'll end up seeing these lanes materialize. OQ is going to take a bit of damage, I assume. Lion will throw the stun his way, a couple of extra right clicks, but with OQ not having a lot of regen, could maybe be a bit of something that Demon Slayer can try and take advantage of here in this early laning phase. But obviously, with the stick already on the field up against the Titan Hunter, he's gonna be able to offset that to some degree.
I think quite a lot of this game rides on this Tide Hunter here being able to have a lane, being able to have a game. I think at least part of it is just going to be made possible by this Pango pick. Pangolier doesn't really provide all that much damage normally, so if the Queen of Pain doesn't hit her ult on this Tide, it's going to be actually very hard to bring him down in this game. The Void certainly is not going to provide the damage.
Yeah. To the co-op and the Snapfire ults, I mean, normally you would say Witch Doctor ult as well, very effective, but not so much against a Titan Hunter, not if once he has a couple of extra levels in Kraken Shell. Yeah.
Look at the Witch Doctor. He had 2 extra salves queued up, look at that. He knows his job.
Yeah.
You buy a regen for the safe laner. You don't complain, you keep your head down. You wait until he goes into the jungle.
Yeah. Also has that value Blightstone. Yeah, it looks like the pause is going on for a little bit longer. So,
Do you want to play the first blood game, Drag and Drop?
first blood game, oof. Normally I'm the one who's always asking you, isn't it?
Oh, we can do it. We can both do it now because I
Okay,
intercepted you here.
Alright, so well, last time around the first blood was Storm being killed randomly by Tiny. This should
Yep.
not be happening this time around, hopefully. You'd think he would have learned. So It's a tough one.
This is funny, by the way. I'll buy you some time here, but look at the GPM counter next to the portrait of the Quop here. Yeah, she did get a lot of gold in this less than a minute.
Nice. It's before that last bounty run has even been picked up. Pretty good. But yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be a Witch Doctor, maybe overextending a bit and then getting a stun by Lion, maybe Q from Long GD Tidehunter.
Okay. Bottom lane, Witch Doctor down?
Yep. That's my vote.
That's your vote. I mean, when there's a Witch Doctor in the game, it is always very tempting to write him up as the first blood, isn't it?
It really is. Like, it's the moment you overextend, it's very hard for him to just get people away from him. Gives the cast unless it bounces favorably, it's not gonna be that reliable. Gonna be that long of a lockdown to allow you to get away. The other side you have a line, and then even that Q, that's a lot of slow early on, plus that minus armor on a very squishy target. So that was my reasoning there.
I mean, I also want to say Witch Doctor, but I'm gonna say a Witch Doctor, but to a tiny rotation. I think we're gonna see a pretty late first blood here.
Okay.
It's just a Witch Doctor, man. It's hard to say no. The Witch Doctor's gonna live.
All right. So we are going to a panel right here. Guess with the pause still going on, we might as well just take a bit of a break before we head back into the games. So, yeah, hopefully this won't take too long. But yeah, stay tuned.
Welcome to Dota, friend. It's Dota time, baby!
还在对面杜莎，
基本上没有突破环境了。
对，杜莎好像还摆不活，被跌追死了。诺瓦直接跳出来，奇迹，恭喜李逵！恭喜李逵，拿到了本届 Super Major 的冠军。
欢迎来到由完美世界游戏主办的2018 CS:GO 亚洲邀请赛。
鬼王也会也打3个。
恭喜拿命，获得这次 CAC 亚洲邀请赛的冠军。
第二奖励有没有锤？还差一下，差一下，漂亮！一个走，走。
这样，对这一盘老坑爹其实已经没有什么机会了。
恭喜 Fnatic，
恭喜 Fnatic 拿到了DPC亚洲邀请赛的一个冠军。
最后的1秒钟，我估计 Woxy 都没有想到。啊，他以为在 B 吧？站起来，泽宝尼打下了这个不可思议的残局。
我代表个什么东西？这是 carry 吗？我又要提这个问题。3胜！恭喜 Monster！ 恭喜 Monster！ 2-0战胜了来自于芬兰的 Major 亚军 N。
Welcome to the International.
好像有点创造不了奇迹，扔在飞机脸上，又是秒被带走，直接打出了奇迹。
这边过来木场要成3个，然后上方呢有战士迅猛，但是扎的效果不是很理想。凤凰直接一个蛋交出，但是这边那个居然海平先生阵亡，后面这个末日还是扯断了这个帕克一丈大，然后接了颗蛋。这边末日人走了先，反手复魂留2个，正面海洋神拳带走这边一个米拉娜，再往前继续跟雪球，这样的话反杀骷髅王1条命。帕克这边再断一波后排，看看起身之后怎么去打。剑圣的血量并不多，但是后排有个奶棒，直接反手一个无敌斩，将他斩死这边一个凤凰，往里顶，海洋神拳过来开到一个米拉娜，后面末日顶着这边的一个波友再往前冲，后面凤凰一个变蛋，正面骷髅王这个位置第1条命已经交掉了。看看正面凤凰马上涅槃重生，末日大招给到这边的一个帕克，里面柔山到底是谁的？柔山被骷髅王拿下，死亡一指过来扎到一个沙王，反向推直接拉开，后面一个刺2个，但是绵绵正面的话应该先行倒地。双方这个位置能不能互救？小福去往中路救自己，但美德莎开大招粘住这边一个丽娜，丽娜转手打了波打死的，但是自己这边好像还是被石化了，直接带走。哎，反手过来一个山崩，但是好像有点隐身女无敌，反手自己被变羊，死亡一指去往中路赶紧过来抬住。但是我们看这个位置直接往上顶，美德莎开了自己的跳刀加石化上来打输出，那2个后排怎么办？配合猎地沟壑都得死。
发现对方的1、3号位都在，拍拍熊这里近身来打输出吃伤害，推一下 ，TB 这里被拍晕了，死亡先知近身了，给上倒影开了 BKB， 对方人有点多，兽王已经倒了，
赶紧跑，这个位置手上还捏着分身
，TB 跑
后续，哎呦，分身好像交走了，
完了，
这个位置孽主先行阵亡，但是孽主这边是有买的，后面再过来一波开车，看看这边眩晕了波拍拍熊，还能再来连撞吗？还能再撞一手，这个位置拍拍熊蓝量不多，1打5，有没有兄弟救他一下？这个位置再过来想跳走，找到老树精，他反杀了老树，再过来亚布就赶过来，
泡个莲花球，终于死了，
终结，但是他能买呀，
是的。
这边能买的人已经不多了，我们看 DP 再过来粘住一个大特蓝量并不多，亚布顿旁边能不能加一口血？加了一口，还在过来继续粘，这个位置能不能把他带走？推一手，踩一下，
礼物再来一口，奶一将，哇！哎，这里还是斧王 BKB 吼，剃刀 BKB 抽攻，后排拉希克被断了，公公开车撞墙，有无光盾解了一下 CK 先倒了 ，TB 这里想再打输出，发现只跟上倒影之后，只能先打脸上的英雄。
但是又有机会，又过来带走这边的一个拉希克，
军团指关直接决斗，伤害没跟上，队友被断了，军团指关决斗要结束了，最后一个穿刺伤害跟上了，古奇里拿到了，不过军团没买的，上一波买魂交过的，帕克有买，发球有买，冥魂大帝这里又被留了，
这边怎么办？反手直接正面battle，自己这边还有命，看看这边往后拉扯，要不要把伤害熊碎片换上来？换上来了，就看这个位置2秒 CD， 这边再给否决，刷一手刷出来了，
没命了，
还有1命，
再起身，
他没拉跳刀，往后跟给莫勇，这个位置再过来继续跟一手，推救一下，拍头直接勾了上来，断掉这边天涯默克，还没买的，找这边骷髅王反手一个大晕锤，但是感觉这个位置血量有点顶不住，自己阵亡，但是可以考虑选择一波买活，正面只剩拉希克跟这边骷髅王了
，CK 跳进来晕了一个4秒，
盾看看是谁的，这个位置伐木机拿到这个盾，拍拍熊往后一波拉扯，状态不是很理想，这被带走，但是 CK 的状态也不是很好，这样的话 CK 也死，双方这边形成1波1换1，再来看接下来怎么去打，这边过来拉住一个小洛，能补一波法输出，小洛这个位置也直接被带走，
来了小文，
哎呦没打走了，这个位置 CK 还要继续往前顶 ，DPC PK， 看看往前继续过来追，这边伐木机打了波 AOE， 整个这边那个起风的状态不是很理想，而且 CK 还在被拍拍熊继续粘住，给了个闪之后补了个变羊，这个位置 CK 先行阵亡，虽然说这个位置小歪也被补了，但是小歪是可以买的，这个位置过来找到一个 CK 这个位置要稍微小心点，他是买活的，往上再一顶 ，CK 这个位置被秒了，而且后面还留了一个起风了，这边怎么办？又被变羊。
Welcome to Dota, friend. It's Dota time, baby!
大招踩到了4个，但是敌还在对面路上，基本上没有突破环境了。对面路上好像还不活，被铁锤死了。诺瓦直接跳出来，GG，恭喜Liquid！恭喜Liquid，拿到了本届Super Major的冠军。
世界游戏主办的2018 CSGO 亚洲邀请赛。
打包地，鬼王也会也打3个。
恭喜拿命，获得这次 CAC 亚洲邀请赛的冠军。
第二条率有没有锤？还传一下，传一下，漂亮！兄弟走，走！
这样，这一盘老坑爹其实已经没有什么机会了。
恭喜你们 SK！
恭喜你们 SK 拿到了DPC亚洲邀请赛的一个冠军。
最后的1秒钟，我估计 Works 都没有想到。他以为在 B 吗？站起来，泽宝尼打下了这个不可思议的残局。
我到有个什么东西？这是开人吗？我又要提这个问题。3闪！恭喜 Monster！ 恭喜 Monster！ 2-0战胜了来自于芬兰的 Major 亚军 N。
Welcome to the International.
PKP 了，漂亮！
奇迹哥好像有点创造不了奇迹，扔在飞机脸上，又是秒被带走，
直接打出了奇迹。
Yeah.
Alright, guys. We are back. Sorry for the delay. There's been a technical pause. We do not know more than that. But we are here now, ladies and gentlemen. The deciding match in this best of 3. Demon Slayer versus XG. The winner will get to stay in the Dota Pro circuit. The loser will, well, they'll be eliminated and they will have to go through the open qualifiers again, which not gonna be too easy necessarily.
I can't believe it. Video game. Having time to adjust here. Wow.
Yeah,
Alright,
it's time to see
so
some green pixels kill red pixels.
Green
and
pixels,
vice
red.
versa.
It's everything I've ever wanted D-drop.
Yes.
Alright, so the lanes that we got. Tide versus the Void here. Like we said before, this should be a decent lane for the Tide. It's going to farm up quite a bit. Storm versus Tiny. Storm, excuse me, the player, not the hero. There. I did it too. Are you happy now, D-drop?
Nah, I mean, if there was a Storm on the other side, you can get away with saying that. Else, it's just trying too hard, in my opinion. But
it was a whoopsie.
You do you. You do you. As long as you don't say Storm Spirit when you mean Storm, it's all good.
Storm, the player, the famous superstar.
Yeah.
And then over here, Darley, our unfortunate Ursa of the previous game. Going over
don't
on
talk
the
about
Morphin.
that.
There's the thing, he has some redeeming to do.
He does, indeed. Well, enough game 1. Do so again here on this Morphin. It certainly seems like a decent enough Morphin game if you have some solution to perhaps a silence from the core, which you want to go orchid or something like that. As a cookie out of the cogs, very nice. And it's still taking a bunch of damage before that, though.
Oh yeah, and a reminder, of course, that both the casters here predicted that the first blood was going to be on this witch doctor over here, just in different ways.
Can also depend, of course, on how aggressive the Tide Hunter wants to level. Wants to put that early points into Gush or not. And right now, Aqua is playing very aggressively.
Yeah, I think you should under pretty much every single circumstance, but we don't always see it. Just I think Kyle likes to repeat that it's the one of the best level 1 spells in the game.
Oh yeah, I can figure
minus
that.
armor and slow that you get.
Just the ultimate kill spell. Like slows in general are a lot more valuable early on compared to stuns because they tend to last a lot longer. And 40% slow is always going to be significant. In place blink, very nice. Just a dodge a tower shot. Did you disjoint that one?
Yeah. If you have it, why not use it?
Yep. Pretty good Dante for the Queen of Pain, dominating mid. Tiny still getting his last hits though. A couple of extra knives, maybe just a bit of being a melee hero with a ton of right-click damage, you know.
Yeah, the Quap, if she wants to make sure that she gets the range creep, she's going to have to go into melee range to actually get the scream off on them. Yeah. Every single time she does, the Tiny's probably going to be hitting her instead of the creep, so it's never quite convenient. Also, I like that the Tiny just changed that ugly dead tree into a beautiful Christmas tree.
Very nice one. Bit of damage being done, but of course, with the prevalence of runes, Storm will be able to just heal right back up. The Tiny, of course, they have a lot of charge left and will be required, but he can't really use that for a while with another dagger being spammed out.
Ah, Glyph. To deny the range creep there. He still gets it with a toss. Nicely done.
What a guy.
Very creative. Is out of resources now though, so after he bursts his wave, he's going to have to step back just like Quap is doing. Get that bounty run. Mid lane is so independent nowadays. And yeah, we are looking at a slow laning stage once again.
Yep. Might be right with that Witch Doctor on the Tiny rotation, because seems like we're gonna see much action before that. I guess there's still a
tickling the Tide.
Yeah. I guess there's still a chance that something like this happens up top, but at this point, a couple of levels here. shift into the waveform. Like Dali's not gonna be having too much trouble, especially with the self given over to bring back up to full health. He also already has that life-stealing mask, so should be able to sustain himself.
That means that we're going to be waiting for the first power runes here to see who's going to get the opportunity, the best opportunity I should say, at the first rotation. Quap, going back to base right now though, she's probably going to be back in time, but definitely gives Tiny the opportunity to grab an extra wave here.
Runes up bottom, which is it gonna be? It's gonna be Xtreme on top.
That's a kill rune for the Tiny.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's just about left or right, baby. Do it for Gibbs.
Well, we'd both be right on the hero if he goes bottom, if he goes right, but you would be right on the mechanism on top of it.
I like adding those extra qualifications. So far though, seems to want to play opportunistic. Holding that haste rune for an opportunity later. He's going to have to think about popping it now though. He's taken a lot of damage from the dagger. Yeah, 2 levels into that from the Quap. Very nice. Very disappointed if the Tiny pops the haste without actually making a rotation. That would be so sad.
Oh yeah.
A little stack there as well.
What?
Okay.
I said, well, oh yeah, this solo kill will probably not happen again.
Yeah, and there's the tips again. I can't believe it. Both of us were like, nah, he's not gonna fall for that again over on Storm, is he? No, he was. He was and he did.
It was very close this time though, and Clockwork ends up taking out the Witch Doctor up top. We're all wrong.
Yeah, but that Tiny, am I wrong? Could he not have just bottled? Oh, that's a bait.
Yep, almost worked out, but Tiny wasn't quite ready with another round of spells. Yeah, they knew that the sentry was down, so we're starting to deny the ward. Trying to bait in the Pango.
And I can't believe that Storm died solo again. It's incredible.
Nice. Hello. No disarm, no slow. A couple of Hex coming out and sold out taken over again. Level 3 himself. I'll pick up a little bit here, a bit of back and forth. Overall winners seem to be Tiny, and also the Titan there is sitting casually at the top of the net worth chart right now.
Yeah, that's the next thing that I was going to bring up. We have all of the supports rotating towards top right now, and the pressure up there just makes Xtreme bring their supports up as well. React again, but the Tide wins the straight up matchup versus the Faceless Void. And he's going to pull even further away.
So far, so good. The Void, like he's forced to jungle farm already. There's only so many times that you can undo some of that anchor smash damage which is starting to stack up. So problem is you can't really effectively farm that early on at least. And on the other side you've got I guess Morphling's doing a similar thing right now. See how this one develops.
Ooh, Fairy Trinket.
Oof.
It's not as good for Tiny as it is for some other heroes, but it's still pretty nice to have.
It's alongside the chipped vest, best item, best level 1 items, hands down. Nice to get that. Clockwork, just trying to soak some experience up top, but Iron at level 6 at this point. Gotta be a bit careful there. She with Morphling just clearing through the jungle, very deep. She drops the chip vest for himself.
Very nice. Yeah, looking to see if this Tiny is going to make his way towards bottom anytime soon. The top lane is already getting pressured out, and right now Demon Slayer is not actually trading the tower. There we go.
Nice little Cogs, just keeping Soldat alive for now. We can just keep himself safe inside this little bunker of his against that ultimate.
Very nice play. Yeah, and this is the kind of reaction that, I mean, you know me, I like to see the towers get traded more than I like towers getting held. But TPing the Tidehunter up there is a very clear sign that they're not ready to let go of that tower. Otherwise, you'd be holding that TP scroll, you'd make sure that your Tide could go mid, for example. Yeah. And it does, in fact, create an opportunity on mid for Xtreme, because the Tidehunter, the Ravage, can't be in mid right now.
Yeah. Be looking for a kill. It's just TP. Okay. I was like, I didn't see the TP animation. I was like, did you just resign to his fate? No, he's actually getting out. There's no way to cancel it, really.
And he keeps on tipping.
Yeah.
Tidehunter with the hood now, he's going to be extremely tanky, and that's his entire job is just to be too tanky to die in the chrono. I imagine that he's going to go just for a full pipe.
Yep.
And really hindering the ability of Xtreme to get kills early on, because the magic damage is really all they have for now. Tiny blink as well, this man is owning.
A pretty good position. I mean, in the lane that they parked the Tidehunter in is a lane that Xtreme Gaming can't really push, can't really pressure. Now it's, I think he's the one killing off the Ancients right now. It's a big stack too.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly worth not having the tower defense for a little while.
Definitely worth it in the short term. You can see right now that Xtreme doesn't actually have any vision to really see what's happening on the dire side of the map. They have no idea if defensive top is going to come. They have no idea what anyone's doing bottom. They just have Aenid fishing once again, but he's not really getting to bite anything right there as a smoke comes over towards top. Now they have level 6 on the line.
I've seen a single disarm from the Pengaldeer this game. Bit annoying, and yeah, Tiny looking to use that Blink Dagger, and I just used the Q. Not that it would have mattered. Plenty of magic burst. Rise and a Tiny, they get the ward. They might lose the line in turn with the follow up there. Gets a couple spells out, but yeah, it's a bit too much. It's gonna be fine with that though, getting that stack on the finger and the D ward. That Blink reveal, even though he did show on a Radiant Rune earlier, I'm not sure if they actually figured out that he had a Blink. Either way, kill's a kill.
I'm not sure. Yeah, and this is very effective, especially with the Tide getting so much damage in. He might be dead here.
The best shot, a couple of ultimates being used, all three of them, and that'll be enough with the Maledict. That's quite a commitment though.
Yeah, a lot of heroes down to the bottom side of the map where they're not necessarily going to do anything. And now with the Lion coming into mid, I wonder if they're looking for a pick off to go towards this middle tower. The Tiny's already curving around the back.
Yeah.
Just taking some camps for now, but yeah. And you can see the supports from Xtreme immediately rotated over towards mid. Yeah. They don't have their ults right now, but they know that the next target is immediately going to be their mid tower.
There's one part to go until Tidehunter actually has a chance to TP back in.
Scan on the mark.
Coming in, confirming that. And there's a hookshot in just as the Tidehunter starts to TP. Blink forward here from Tiny. The Ravage catches Storm just before it can get the Blink animation out. That's gonna be first Ravage of the game. Very successful. 2 kills being made in front of the tier 1 tower mid. And with Darley being able to whack away at it with a max agility means he just dies. And speaking of dying, Tiny finds a bonus kill. Way behind the tower. And they defend bottom. No response whatsoever from Xtreme Gaming. In fact, Ionid not feel confident enough to blink in after him, as it turns out. But Wrestler's team actually going for the interception. Line brought down though. Look at this Orchid. Nice deny.
Nice.
Beautifully done.
That's not the Orchid reveal you would have wanted.
No, not at all. Some follow-up smoke. Really go on though, I mean... It's already dead. Everyone else a little bit tougher to bring down.
Maybe the Clockwork, who's moving pretty far forward right now. I don't think they have any reason to assume that he's there. So instead,
Vidali sitting at 6.5 points as a silent to start with. There's no way to cancel this one, and the ultimate just to make sure. It's the perfect kill that they could have gotten sitting there. Farming his own jungle, minding his own business.
And that is more of the Orchid reveal that you want. Morphling doesn't have a Manta style yet. Would be very early for him to have it, of course. But he has been working away towards that, and after that, that kill threat is not really there anymore. This was really the only time they were going to get him. And after the Manta style, it's going to be E-Blade. And that's going to be very useful as a saving mechanism in the Chrono as well. Especially once the magical damage from the ultimates has been dealt, just protecting it. Anyone who is still in there.
He's using it on Void if he doesn't have any way to dispel it either. Works quite well either way.
Tide once again having a big stack for himself, really sitting cozy at the top of his net worth. Lion Blink now too. Demon Slayer's doing really well.
XG, they found an opportunity while Ravage was on cooldown, but now that big thing, the big spell is back again. Something coming on the courier for the Tide Hunter. It's the full halberd, so yet another way to deal with the Faceless Voids inside the Chronosphere.
Yeah, so no pipe here, but just extra tank, extra evasion, Sanj, very useful for him to get off all these other stuns as well.
What are they gonna do with that timing though? Could swing towards top, it's kind of far away though. Get one not easily valuable enough if you want to think about Roche eventually. Right now they're grouping up in mid behind the Tide Hunter, looking to perhaps smoke up. Yeah, in fact they are smoked.
Yeah, Tide's gonna show in the jungle.
Going the wrong way though, they still find the initiation on the Faceless Void. Follow-up needs to be there, but the silence on Tiny prevents that. Nice little hookshot in the back. Okay, KA still gets the Chrono out. Finds one, Dali got the jump out in Faceless Void form. But this was a Demon Slayer initiating and they lose 2 heroes. Lion also gets run down. Long GGG. He was not there with them.
No, he was not. And I think that they didn't think about the fact that Xtreme would have vision in their own jungle, so they could react like that because A, the Tide wasn't there, and B, they knew the Tide wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, right? The threat of the Ravage might otherwise hold them back, but they like the Watermelon's not here, dudes. Let's go. It doesn't look like they're ready to back off though. The Ravage is still up.
Also back again. They're looking for the safer target, a tier 1 top. It is useful, but it's not worth dying over if you don't have your Chrono, if you don't have all your ultimates on the side of XG. And it is there, can be a bit annoying. That's about it.
Exactly, Xtreme is most likely going to look to farm up a little bit. Maybe
Blink stun, Blink X with the follow-up, he reveals himself to his own detriment.
Yeah. What did he think was going to happen?
I don't know.
I
can just ult out if I'm in trouble. Oh wait, they have instant disable. Never mind then. Now going straight into Roche. A bit of minus armor there from the Gush. They're gonna take them a little while, but XG is in no condition to fight this one right now.
Yeah, they probably have a suspicion by the fact that they get to actually push out that middle tower, but Xtreme can't fight into the Ravage and they know it, so they're just going to let this happen. And that feels pretty bad for Xtreme too, because they have a full Solar Crest up on the Snapfire pretty much right now. They could have easily taken Roche themselves, but Xtreme, Demon Slayer, snatch it away.
Yep. And take it, it's already dead. So now 5 minutes on the clock before that Morphling. That extra bit of security. The solution now for XG. I mean, their spell's gonna be coming off cooldown. Chronosphere, the last one to do it. Should be any moment now. Now they're just securing their triangle, not a TP in, but hookshot up to the high ground, finds the Witch Doctor, the finger, and the follow-up is there. Dali takes a bit of damage here, but undoes it. Man-Style up against the silence. Now he's in the middle, inside the Chronosphere, but he's shifting strength. They can't even kill him the first time. Rises right there with a bit of a stun, back and forth. Alright, they have enough first, but now Long GG comes in. The Ravage catches only one in the back, and actually you need as well. In the front. Nice little cast though, bouncing back and forth. He gets to stay alive. He's shifting the wrong way. Oh, that was very, very dangerous.
Darley, my boy. You are going to redeem yourself. Don't give me these heart attacks.
Well, the worst thing in the world when all is said and done. They get a number of good kills. Aqua bought back even into this fight. And buy some space with the cast. A lot of ultimate use, but ultimately it's more valuable for XG because they cannot fight without them whatsoever. Whereas Demon Slayer, well, they have some better ways to get pickoffs.
Yeah, this Tiny is doing work this game. And the Queen of Pain, well, she's got a BKB, so she's going to be able to go in a lot more reliably right now. The previous times she needed to hold the blink because otherwise she simply dies as, yeah.
Just like that.
Witch Doctors, am I right?
XD.
It's the life.
Dali should be fine up top. The rest of his team coming in. There's no Faceless Void anywhere to be seen. And without a Chronosphere, his time is better spent on the other side of the map. Pushing and pressuring and just make them lose at least something out of this here. Timely ult there from Ionit. Sure it doesn't get caught.
Yeah, it saves his life, but that's one of the ultimates over on Xtreme down again already.
Yeah. At least it's one of the lower cooldown ones. That doesn't mean that they might want to have to give up this tower. 50 seconds for Chrono, but also 50-40 seconds for Ravage.
Yeah, and Xtreme throughout this time has tried several times to get back up into their triangle. They've tried to get some reactive fights, but what they haven't really done, apart from the Void, is try to get some more sneaky hits in on that middle tower, for example, to take some of the pressure off. They're not really invading the other side of the map, and that's what's leading to this gold differential right now. Xtreme are fishing for a fight, which is good, but they're not getting it, which is an economical problem, and that's a lot of damage.
I want to commit on it. It was very deep. It weren't all there, so we're just baiting that BKB out. Just enough pressure to get that without overcommitting on it. Now they get another tier 2 very early on. Opens up the outpost, of course, as well. They can get that next. They take out a triangle. This is... I mean, this game's in a danger zone right now for XG. They need to break out somehow.
Well, maybe this smoke is going to do it for them. They're moving into their own jungle, though.
Might find Soul out if they do, but it's not exactly a high-value target. Reason why he's the one still walking very aggressively in the other side of the map. Reveal themselves instead, just getting rid of a couple of wards here, reclaiming the triangle at least to farm in.
There's going to be an E-Blade up on it more pretty soon. That's going to really spell disaster, especially for the supports. Yeah, and there we go.
Did they not find this dire ward? Oh my god. Why you put it on the secondary slot?
Yeah.
It's the straight up sentry in a normal ward spot, doesn't catch it. I need a courier to fly by or something, but yeah, that hurts. Some free vision that Demon Slayers can still rely on in that triangle.
Yep. And after getting some economical wins on top, they now move to the bottom lane to pressure out the last tier 2 tower. And their win percentage looks about what I'd expect it to be at this point. Of course, you're up first to Faceless Void, who has been farming very nicely. And the pop hasn't really been pushed out yet either. But you do have some of your important defensive items up right now as well. You got a Lotus Orb, so you can take the silence off of anyone who gets orchided. Also a lot of armor for the Tide himself, a lot of mana. Versus, for example, the Diffusal Blade over on the Pangolier.
Yep. Wanna force high ground just yet. Probably gonna wait until another Roche fight is taken. Still gonna be a while. They lost at Aegis relatively early on in the cycle. Still 1 or 2 minutes until the minimum respawn. Till then, just have to try and find the way to lock XG inside their base.
XG definitely better at sneaking out by now.
Especially with these very deep wards that they found. Like you can even see a courier sniped there with a co-op if you look at the minimap. There it is. It should flag out the fact that there might be some wards there, but oh, Storm. That is so cheeky.
Poor Lion.
Oh man, it's just what is happening? Where are these bells coming from? Oh no.
This is a good opportunity to smug up here. This Lion doesn't have buyback. Long DGG was up pretty far. They need a lot of damage to bring him down though. They might have to drop all 3 ultimates if the Tide is there, they find.
Yeah.
They're not actually chasing after him, yeah. I wouldn't really either.
Sold
Instead,
out. A lot easier.
Yep.
Gets to live a little bit longer, but he'll go down eventually though. How much is that really going to mean? Roche is not about to spawn, not by a long shot. Might get the tier 1 tower finally in mid, and but all they can
that would
ask
be a
for
pretty
if
big breakthrough.
that looks like they will. This one, unless Tidehunter wants to walk in. Why not? Chronosphere straight up.
Yeah. 2
control.
ultimates.
He's still
3.
alive. Meanwhile, the back whoop is just dead. The Ravage still comes out before he takes out. No real follow-up from rest of Demon Slayers. Dali was controlled up himself, still disarmed for a while, turns into Witch Doctor. Looks like Aqua will end up going down, but sold out looking for one. Stun missing! The BKB comes out, no OQ. Cannot turn it into any counter kills, so they'll have to settle. For this Witch Doctor after all. And not just that actually, how did they find him? By Snapfire, I guess. This is what we've been talking about. Just use everything on a Tidehunter. He doesn't die, he still gets his spells out. Storm being caught before that even on the other side of the Chronosphere.
Yeah, and it was incredibly close. You could see that they really didn't want to use all of them, and they were just dismayed to see that they were going to have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means exactly what we saw just now. Demon Slayers just get to chase out on these individual kills, and they have great chase with the Tiny, with his combo, and of course with the Morphling as well. So Xtreme really need to catch more heroes in their spells in order for the teamfight to work out for them.
Now.
The tower still stands.
Yeah, it's very, very rare that you see it stand at close to 30 minutes still. Gives you access to this next Roshan. It's a long respawn time, another minute on the clock now. So they're gonna have the advantage going into that. At that time, all the spells should be available for both teams, both sides. And of who gets the right jump on whom. Or at least Void is playing quite strong. Like he's keeping up in terms of net worth, but he's the only one. Storm starting to fall behind.
And the problem is that this Faceless Void is really not going to be doing much of his own damage just yet. His team will have to play relatively close to him in order to help him kill people in the Chrono.
A couple items, yeah.
Paladin Sword's not bad for a Void. Not at all.
Yep. Strong indeed. You saw the Orb of Corruption or whatever it's called. An extra bit of minus armor for the Dali Morphling.
Very nice in combination with the Tide Gush. I wonder what the Tide's going to build next. Like, he could still finish that pipe. He could be looking for, I mean, anything really. Aghanims is an option if he really wants to go in the way of all of the minus armor. He could buy himself a BKB. Become really immortal. Honestly though, if you buy a BKB on the Tide, I think they'll finally get the clue and stop focusing you because they physically can't anymore. So maybe you don't want to build a BKB. Hope that they make the same mistake again.
And
I'm calling it a mistake here.
Just try.
Yeah, I mean, and calling it a mistake here, but it's really they have to get past the watermelon.
It's damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? Like if
Exactly.
you don't try and bring him down, he's just gonna walk in and still cast all the spells.
Well, if he's separate from his team, though, you could kill him, but unfortunately, he's TPing out. Smoke up.
Both teams in order, Roche is back up. Smoke will break on long GG. Nice hook shot here on the Storm, trying to bring him down. Chronosphere doesn't quite find the angle. Follow-up control is there. Goodbye, Queen of Pain. Can buy back into this fight and will. Meanwhile, Rise will be brought down. As, what the hell? What happened?
The Queen of Pain bought back into Avatos, and she TP'd out.
Oh my god, she TP'd back out, and now she's right there, sold out, Drax are back. A little bit crazy, Rise also buying back into this fight, that's ultimate, not quite connecting on her, the Chronosphere just on sold out, it can just come right back, and now it's Darly in a man fight. Tiny finds the very low hero in the back, very low
everybody buying back.
Swashbuckling Pangolier, another buyback left and right, but XG, they cannot take these fights if they don't have any more spells, whereas Tiny, they can just almost get the solo kill on Aqua. Glimmer Cape will keep him safe for the time being. But the stuns on the Void! They found them. Storm also super low. He cannot get in fact, he cannot get out! Too much mobility, too much burst in the second, in the third, in the fourth round of this fight. And XG, they have no idea what hit them.
All of their buybacks. They couldn't kill any of these cores.
Killed Lion twice, they killed Clockwork once, that's about it.
Oh, and that co-op, like that's the fastest fingers I've ever seen, like the fastest realization I've ever seen on the Avatos dieback. But, so it wasn't an Avatos dieback, but
really, had to pop BKB and TP out.
Yeah. He realized it was happening as he did it, he BKB'd and he TP'd, and not even out all the way, he TP'd to the tier 2 tower.
By the way, there was a tier 2 tower before that, now there isn't. There's a Saturn Rax in mid or a Saturn Rax in bottom. And do they even have to stop? TPing out on Dali for some reason, because they also won Roche, so yeah.
Oh, and
massive victories.
I don't think I've ever seen one fight go this bad for a team this fast. And Xtreme, it's... I understand that you're buying back into the fight, but you're a very Ultimates-based lineup right now. And you bought back on most heroes that had, or after they'd already spent their spells, it wasn't going to work. You need to hit a better Chronosphere than one halfway through into the fight on a single Clockwork.
Yeah. It was not enough. Really quick fingers though on Demon Slayer. Also really good positioning. Long GG the one breaking the smoke, and then instantly Clockwork just finds the way in. Everyone else Delta's plating, making sure that they don't present a good target for a Chronosphere. He was looking for it. OQ was looking for it, but he couldn't find it. And then Storm just locked down this entire time before he could even BKB and try and make a fight, and then this weird toss play. Saw it work out in NA, I believe it was, right?
Yeah.
Flying back on Medusa during a toss and winning the game off of that.
Yeah. And with Tiny coming back, like, it's painful to see that it's happening almost every other Tiny game now, and it's getting to be a problem. This is honestly, if it's that often, it's a huge benefit for the hero. You can't buy back versus Tiny right now. So we watched go, Darly. Morphin.
A bit of work here.
Like a Power Ranger.
Ooh, another jump in. He's okay with that snap ult. Fine, he dies, but at what cost, Gibbs?
Yeah, 2 ultimates. Not a lot if you compare it to the 4 that a Tidehunter takes, and he's got a PKB now. Of course he does.
An arcane blink. Oh, that's a decent chronosphere though. There's the E-Blade to save one. Long GG tank enough to survive through that here, but BKB into the cheese. Tiny has to walk away. That's the rest of the ultimates forced out. The BKB not lasting forever. The Ravage straight into everybody! They're all dead, Kips! One by one they fall!
They just didn't have the damage.
No.
Beautiful
Just
usage
gets
of the
one
E-Blade
shot.
there to save the Tiny and the Chrono, and yeah, because they used the ultimates to kill Darley before, they had no magic damage left to throw into the Chrono. It is over. It is done.
Humanity!
Absolutely, and I consider Demon Slayer to be the best team all this time, but I didn't think they'd force out the game in such style. It's almost like Xtreme where they just wanted it to be over with. They were like, all right, fine, we'll throw all the buybacks at this fight because we don't want to slowly slip and slide down this game where we don't have the damage to deal with all of these cores. And I mean, at least you keep the power in your own hands, but it did not work out for them in the slightest.
Oh.
Beautiful toss Ravage timing there.
It's the first one of the
This is
game that we
Tidehunter.
saw.
Really the key pick. This is the overchase.
Yeah.
The Tidehunter, look at the minimap, he's just in the jungle right now. If you had a Ravage right there, that would have been perfect, but he's, boys, not around.
His first Roche, free kill, Dali going back in. For free in the world, and yeah, Snapfire ultimate's going, the Chronosphere is going, but it's already shifting strength, like they don't have anything else. Throw with that until just now. Sure, they get that, but look at this. Long GG walking in. Storm someone gets to jump out, but still getting that extra kill. Dali giving
To
you a
morph
hard
in the
time.
wrong direction, he really gave me sweaty palms there.
There we go.
This is, okay, 4 ultimates for the Tide. 1, 2, 3.
It did get him, but he still got the Ravage out on 3 heroes. Storm got caught by the rest of Demon Slayers in the midst of that.
It enables this this chase back as we see Darley getting bamboozled by the
OQ does get to live here, Aqua doesn't, but I want to look at the minimap. Yeah, they're splitting up. They realize, alright, there's no way we need to all chase the freaking Witch Doctor. Tiny and Rise, they just go in and get another one. There we go, this great fight. Look at this, OQ goes in, blink across, Ravage catches couple.
absolutely great
Focus on
cogs as
Storm,
well.
he bites back into it, BK.
Yeah.
I think BKBing just straight up TPing out. I think he BKB'd before he died actually.
Yeah.
After all.
Realizes immediately. I mean, that's great reflexes, but honestly, it shouldn't have to be like that. Gaben, please.
But Sonic Wave,
Here,
yeah,
just
great, but
throw it
Sonic
out.
Clockwork.
Yeah, and I think the Lion just force-staffed himself out of that too. That's not just a bad chrono, that's also just good play
Oh yeah,
from
absolutely.
Sold Out.
But all that, Dali just gets to play, gets to kite however he wants. Like, turns into faces for he has an extra jump. Still a super fun gameplay if you're a Morphling guy, I guess. As Aqua barely lives this time. Isolating the void, beautiful play from Sold Out on Clock as well for this entire game.
Yep.
And then this devastating jump.
Oof. I think here, yeah, you see E-Blade, save, nothing they can do.
Save, eats the cheese, and then just as the BKB goes down, just wait for this. Pulling forward, Pangolier jumping in at the same time, just as an added bonus.
The Ravage
That was
goes up
full fight by
so
Ravage,
fast.
Yeah, it's crazy with the Arcane Link.
Farewell over on the Tide? Absolutely. This was a key pick for the game and he played it out beautifully as well. Like, the only time he was out of position was on that overchase mid where, like, buddy.
Team?
Yeah, I mean, he was as confused as we were, I'm sure. But for the rest of it, like, he tanked all the spells and he put himself in the face of Xtreme Gaming every single time.
Yep.
And it just worked out beautifully.
It did indeed. So, well, that is it for this tiebreaker. That was quite the series. Game number 1 was pretty straightforward. Game 2 was a bit questionable here from Dali, especially just a little bit too aggressive on this Ursa. I mean, we've all played Ursa before. We kind of want to play like that, but he really did that a bit too early without having the requisite items or team support there. So, yeah, not the best performance, but that's also why they're playing for staying in the brackets
Exactly.
and not for
Not get
advancing.
eliminated.
Exactly. So keep that in mind. But they did pull it out in game number 3. Demon Slayer will get to remain here in the Dota Pro circuit. Xtreme Gaming, I believe they were in Season 1 as well, right? Yeah.
They were, yes.
They
So
were?
Demon Slayer make their way in at the cost of a team that also played the previous season.
Yeah. So congratulations to them. It was great fun to cast with you again, once again, Kipspool. Even though it was a little bit long, we had a bit of an extended technical delay, unfortunately, in the middle as well. I won't hold us up too much because I actually have to go to work soon. My proper work. But you guys can stick around. There's gonna be some upper division goodness happening as well.
Yep.
Let me lie.
We got IG versus eHome,
Yep.
and then after that PSG LGD versus RNG. And IG versus eHome, IG can get themselves guaranteed into the tiebreakers if they win this one. If they lose that one, probably a major without the previous major winners. So that's a pretty important match. And then LGD versus RNG is also very important for our LGD to make sure that they get elevated above the middle pool of tiebreakers as well, though that puts them in position to tiebreak with Aster if Aster loses versus Elephant later. So very important last 4 matches here. So these 2 coming up, I'll be there. I hope you guys will be too.
Yeah. I'll see if I can dip in here if I do have some time once I get to work, but we'll see about that. You guys should definitely go ahead and head over to the main channel after we're done here at PWRD Esports 1 on Twitch. We'll also be hosting that, presumably. But yeah, we will be back again with some more tiebreakers, though. Let's not forget about that in the lower division again. As the Arias, Magma, and LBZS battling for that second slot to make it to the upper division in the next season. That'll be happening either Sunday or Monday, so do keep an eye on the socials, PWRD Esports on Twitter, dpc.pwesports.cn, I believe, was the websites, and of course, Wikipedia, all of the other pages where you can find the schedule. Do keep an eye on that, and hope to see you then. Goodbye.